Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we living in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you can never speak for black folks. Fake ass pandemic, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye, we don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and I go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk. You ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, and get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy, and man makes them happy because man makes them gone. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world. But
family, greetings. And thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Frontline Black News. I'm your host, Chan Krumah. And we're joined with Lady Chase in the background right behind me. And we should be joined with our West Coast correspondent, Shabaka Sankoria, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, which I'm the co-executive producer and co-host of. And on this season 5, episode 42, part 2 of the Frontline Black News, we'll be discussing several topics we didn't get to in part 1. And that is 475 illegal immigrants arrested, record-breaking ICE raid at Hyundai plant in Georgia. Are foreigners trying to use celebrities to tether onto FBA lineage? Why you can't pay to be added to the B1 Rolodex? The 7 levels of racist. Who really leads the world in baby mama culture? Trump restarts ICE raids on farms. Immigration crackdown hits agriculture in the United States. How the move siege became war on Black neighborhood. Chicago's mayor, $600 million migrant spending leaves city in $1.1 billion budget crisis. Democrats claim red state crime is out of control. And busted. ICE vehicle stolen by tow truck driver. He's now facing prison. Please join us on. Wait, hold on. We are based out of East Denver, North Aurora, Colorado. We give the news from a frontline and Black first perspective. We are part of the new Blacc Media. Hold on, Shabaka. I'm gonna bring you on.
Yes, I'm late.
Yeah, you're right on time, Shabaka. I was going through the info. We are part of the new Blacc Media. Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, because I was up here looking at some replays of Terrence Crawford's fights that they're showing here on FanDuel. And as we know, they're very, very close for him fighting Canelo Alvarez. So
yeah, let me finish the intro first. We are part of the new Blacc Media and also the signal boosters of the new Blacc Media. We have been around for 5 seasons now and counting. And we have several platforms that are part of the Frontline campaign. Frontline Black News being one of the first. The first being Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, but that was on Blog Talk Radio. And we recently moved over to StreamYard. So we have Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, Frontline Black News, and the Revolutionary Agenda. The Revolutionary Agenda started in 2021. Frontline Black News started in 2020, early 2021. Please join us on StreamYard, YouTube, Frontline Black News. The links to all of our channels are in the description. Frontline Black News, my personal page, Jesse Paris, aka Chan Krumah, the RBA, the Revolutionary Agenda, Jay Militant's channel, What's Cracking TV with Jay Militant, Kool Keezy, who does our intro track. His link is also in the description. And the Church of Black Power, our brother out of Watts, California, who is now in Houston, Texas. His link is also in the chat. Also, we have the petition for reparations, so please sign that in the description. And we have the GoFundMe Lady Shea set up as well in the description. And copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And I do not own the rights to the music. And if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you in all 9 areas of human activity, which is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And some say health and nutrition. And that's from the great Nelly Ford Jr., who just passed away in February, ProduceJustice.com. And when you, a Black person, are captured by any race soldier, you must never fuss, fight, or flee. Comply and defend yourself in court, also by the great Nelly Ford Jr., ProduceJustice.com. And last but certainly not least, we got racism, white supremacy. It's conscious and subconscious behavior to maintain white genetic survival, to prevent white genetic annihilation. And that's by the great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who passed away in 2016. All right, that's the intro, Shabaka. So what were you gonna say when you first came on?
I was just putting it up here in the chat room. Yeah, I was looking at some of Terrence Crawford's past fights they shown on FanDuel here in Las Vegas. And of course, we wish Mr. Crawford the best when it goes up against Alvarez in a few days. It's less than a week now. So hopefully this time next week, we'll be talking about Mr. Crawford's spectacular victory over Alvarez. And then with Mr. Crawford being 36 years old now, if you're out there, Terrence, man, smash Alvarez, brother, and retire. It's very, very important that you retire undefeated. Black power on that and put that power sign upside Alvarez's head repeatedly.
Yes, I concur. All right, Shabaka, so I'm going to get us started with the illegal migrant situation. So there was 475 illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens arrested. Record-breaking ICE raid at Hyundai plant in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Georgia on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Charles. And okay, yeah, so I saw the feedback on that right there. The dumpster, once again, he's getting beside himself. Very, very egotistical individual. Okay, now, from what I understand, they are going back off into Washington. DC, that is because they're saying they got the crime rate down, and then they putting it out here on social media saying that a lot of black people are asking, for him to do this. But I kind of dispute it for the simple fact that every black man, woman, and child knows over the age of 12 that you are more than likely to be the suspect. You see, you do not have to be guilty to go to jail. You don't have to be guilty to be murdered by the police, like what the Aurora police did to that brother there about a week ago.
Yes, Shabaka. We know we're already guilty until proven innocent. But there are black people that's calling for the National Guard to deal with this illegal immigrant situation in a lot of these cities, Shabaka. So there is some truth to that.
Okay, all right. Now, the flip side of that, what we need to be focusing on, man, is building up our own businesses and institutions of education, of commerce, and trade, is because, see, these tariffs is getting ready to hit. They're hitting already. And then what's happening is keep an eye on the stock market and keep an eye on the product. And then keep an eye, on your prices as well. And then when it comes to the prices, if it's an essential, you're going to have to buy it. But if it's a luxury, don't buy it. And watch how fast that crap, man, gets discounted to move that inventory off the shelves. Okay, Brother Che, your mic's muted.
I know, Shabaka. I'm having a side conversation with Lady Che. All right, so I'm going to let this video play.
Okay.
It's from TB Media Group. Shout out to him. He's going to give us an update on 475 illegal migrants arrested, record-breaking ICE raid at Hyundai.
All right.
So there's this narrative on the left that they're taking jobs that Americans will not do or don't want to do. And it's absolute nonsense. There's not a single industry in the United States that's done by a majority illegal migrant labor. The highest rates are about 30% in agriculture, which means 72% of people working farms are American citizens. And it is just so disgusting to say these are jobs that are beneath an American. Turns out Americans don't think that. When you have mass deportations and a closed border, employers have to pay more wages. And guess what? Americans are happy to take those jobs. You look at the 1970s, which is when working class Americans could really afford to support a family in dignity on a single income. The share of the population that was foreign born in America was 4%. You look today and it's over 15%. And of course, if you're here and you're an illegal migrant, you have two options. either you're working, which means you're driving down the wages that an American worker could have asked for if you weren't there competing with them for a job, or you're living off the social welfare state, right? There's no third option here. And both of those are utterly, utterly unacceptable. And yet the elites in both parties, as you rightly point out, Rita, have been very much enjoying this because they are the consumers of low-wage labor. So, of course, they would rather pay a nanny $40,000 a year under the table than pay an American $70,000 a year and give them benefits.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to Georgia and New York. We have to head on to both of those states today because today there was a major multi-state ICE raid in both states in which close to up to 500 illegal immigrants working illegally at Hyundai manufacturers were arrested, rounded up, and taken into custody. And the wailing and gnashing of teeth is great when it comes to DNC lunatics that are upset about this. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about this very quickly because I think that this is something that you all should be and will be very interested in. Look at this here. Huge. President Trump is considering banning American IT firms from outsourcing their work to India. Per multiple reports. Do it, 47. Quality of life will go up for every American. Do you know how major that would be if Trump actually did this? How many jobs would open up for American citizens here if this actually goes through? If Trump actually makes this law and brings home all those jobs that have been outsourced to India, but now we get those jobs and those opportunities here. That would be major. And of course, you got people that are mad about it. Look at this really quick. Look at this here, this dummy. And this guy too, I clicked on his personal information. It leads to his Telegram. He is an Indian man who's essentially anti-American, right? He's anti-American. Look at how upset that he is at the possibility of American citizens, actually being able to work for American companies, right? Here in this country, and the jobs not being outsourced to India, where he's from. Look at this. Shocking. Trump is evaluating to block American IT firms from outsourcing to Indian companies, potentially devastating India's IT industry. What about the American IT industry? What about us here? These are American companies. What about our IT industries? What about the American citizens? He could care less. He could care less. And I'm willing to bet you that this guy lives here too. I'm willing to bet you he lives here. He goes on to say, if this happens, India must consider it as an act of war, literally. Wow, really? I don't think you want to take it there. I don't know if that really work out in your favor. He would also go on to say, this should be a red line, F Trump. Oh, this guy's big mad. He is so mad at the idea of American citizens having the opportunity to work for American companies in our actual country and them not being outsourced over to India. Why are you so mad about that? That's very strange to me. Once again, I'm willing to bet you that this guy lives here in the United States. He put up another post too. What did he say here? If Trump takes orders to snatch contracts of American companies given to the Indian IT sector, then India should block U.S. firms like Google, Facebook, YouTube, etc., so that these companies won't get 1.4 billion people access. Will Trump do this? Will Trump do the biggest blunder and play with fire? He should. He should, because it would work out in our favor, not in India's favor. So far, since Trump has been in office, each and every time countries try to play chicken with Trump, Trump has come out on top every single time. So if you want to play, We can play, but Trump will come out on top and India will cave. But I don't think that that's going to happen. But at the same time, we have to wait and see if this actually happens. So let's not count, our eggs before they hatch. But if Trump does this, that would just be major for the American people. That would be major. Now, what else is major is what's going on with ICE. And the close to up to 500 people, they're saying that this is the largest ICE raid in American history with these 500 people being rounded up. I'm not so sure how true that is. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. But this is a big deal, and Democrats are upset about it, not surprisingly. So let's get into that next. Let me pull this news clip up for you guys, and we'll dive into this.
Today, federal officials confirmed ICE officers have arrested at least 475 undocumented immigrants at a Hyundai manufacturing site in Georgia. And more people were detained at the business in New York. Welcome back to Action News Midday.
Now, the move sparked anger and frustration with the New York governor, who is saying she's outraged by people being separated from their families. ABC.
You cannot get any more un-American than a Democrat. That is like, I'm not even mad at the guy we were speaking of earlier, who the Indian guy who was, talking real tough concerning Trump, stopping the outsources of IT firms going into India and keeping those jobs here. I'm not even that mad at him, honestly. I mean, because at the end of the day, I guess he's fighting for his country, even though he most likely lives here, as is typically the case. But I mean, at least he's an Indian man fighting for his home country, regardless of the fact that he may live here. I can respect that. I can respect that. What I cannot respect are American citizens like Kathy Hochul that is upset at the idea that American citizens will now have an opportunity at these jobs that were hiring illegal immigrants illegally, knowing that they weren't supposed to. But now those jobs will open up for American citizens to take, as they should have always been to begin with. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, is upset about that. She's not happy for the American worker. She's upset that apparently, allegedly, families are going to be separated. Once again, you can't get any more anti-American than a Democrat. That is an insane response for her to have. But I digress. Let's continue.
Spark anger and frustration with the New York governor, who is saying she's outraged by people being separated from their families. ABC's Rena Roy has the very latest.
475 people detained by immigration officials at a Hyundai manufacturing site in Ellabelle, Georgia, Thursday, just west of Savannah. The ATF Atlanta offices posting these images on social media, saying they were there to assist.
This has been a multi-month criminal investigation where we have developed evidence, conducted interviews, gathered documents, and presented that evidence to the court in order to obtain a judicial search warrant.
Department of Homeland Security officials say this was part of an ongoing criminal investigation into allegations of unlawful employment practices and other serious federal crimes. DHS saying it underscores the commitment to protecting jobs for Georgians, ensuring a level playing field for businesses that comply with the law, safeguarding the integrity of our economy, and protecting workers from exploitation.
And that sounds good. That sounds great. And I want to believe it. But this is the thing that has to follow, man. These arrests are good and much appreciated. But if these businesses do not get held accountable and slapped with extremely stiff fines, and the fines have to be consistent. When you violate, bam, you're going to get hit with a fine so hard, you are going to think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times before you commit this act of treason, as far as I'm concerned. Again, unless you do that, this stuff is going to continue. It's going to continue. It will. I'm going to say this much, though. I'm going to give ICE and Department of Homeland Security all the credit and the applause that they deserve, because they have been rather consistent at going into these companies and removing those that are working illegally, right? This isn't the first time that we've seen this happen in California. I believe there was another company. I did a video on it a while ago. I think it was in South Carolina or maybe North Carolina. It was one of the Carolina states, you know, so they are going into these businesses, into these warehouses and these manufacturers, and they're making the arrest. They're removing these people from out of these companies, you know, forcing these companies to have to, you know, hire American citizens. But at the end of the day, all of that will be temporary if these businesses continue to skirt by without having to pay some sort of penalty, a fine, if they themselves are not held accountable. So that has to be done. Let's carry on and see what else they're going to say and break down in this video.
That comply with the law, safeguarding the integrity of our economy and protecting workers from exploitation.
There are no criminal charges being announced today.
More than 24 people detained are South Korean. The country's foreign ministry.
I stopped too soon. I stopped too soon. When I gave my whole little speech about being held accountable, what did he say? No charges are going to be handed out today. That's the, see? You see? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's horrible.
Protecting workers from exploitation.
There are no criminal charges being announced today.
More than 24 people detained are South Korean. The country foreign concern and regret over the incident at the plant, which is run by South Korean companies, saying individuals' rights should not be unfairly infringed upon.
What about the rights of the American citizen? That's crazy. That's crazy. They said we should be able to do business and do whatever we want, even if that means not hiring American citizens. We're going to hire our own who are there illegally. How dare you infringe upon our rights? And then you have people like Kathy Hochul, who is as anti-American as they can get, siding with those in South Korea. Or is it North Korea or South Korea? In South Korea, I believe. You're siding with the international companies over the American citizens. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's actually very believable.
On upstate New York on the same day, at least 40 people were detained at a factory that makes specialty nutrition bars.
The workers here, like I said, they're great people. Love every single one of them. We can't do what we do without them.
I won't support any effort to separate families. I think it's appalling. I have said all along, I will help the federal government remove people who are threats, that are violent criminals. That's what the president election.
No, he didn't, you idiot. He said everybody. He said everybody. He said everybody. He said this was going to be the greatest mass deportation effort in American history. He did not restrict it to those with criminal records. Dummy, shut up and stop lying.
And this is what we are told. Go after the worst of the worst. It's all we heard about. And now you have raids.
And now officials have not provided details on the New York security criminal investigation. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Democrats hate America. They hate America and they hate American citizens. That's genuine disdain for American citizens. What you saw from Kathy Hochul is genuine disdain for American citizens. Just genuine disdain. And you wonder why the Democrat Party is collapsing right in front of your very eyes. Why they have the lowest approval rating ever recorded. Why they're in a deficit of negative 4.5 million registered votes. Of people are registering to become Republican like crazy. And that's not just new voters. Those are also consisting of voters who were once independent that have flipped into Republicans. And most importantly, a good number of them are Democrats that have now flipped Republican. And you wonder why. Because you're anti-American. It's disgusting. That is so disgusting, listening to Kathy Hochul speak. That's when you're talking about the worst of the worst, that's you, Kathy Hochul. You are the worst of the worst. You are the enemy within. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out.
And please hit the like button for Frontline Black News. All right, you said that South Sudan kicked out the Mexican who.
Hey, man, that motherfucker wasn't there 24 hours. And they sent that trick on his way.
Where they send him to?
I think they sent him to Mexico. But the point is that they made is that the dump is not going to dump his bullshit over there. So they kicked him the fuck out. I'm quite sure they could care less where he goes. But his ass ain't going to be in the South Sudan.
Well, he'd probably be in Uganda or in, who else said they was taking him? Uganda said they was going to take him. And there was another African country that said they was going to take him.
Well, it looks like here in the chat, man, that YouTube rejected my comment.
Yeah, your P2 been on that bush.
Yeah.
All right, so I agree with TD when he said that they need to hold these corporations accountable for this shit.
Oh, absolutely. It's because what they're doing is the corporations or partnership businesses is that they're exploiting these people. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And well, this supports.
But not only that, they need to be fined for even allowing these people to even work in these down places.
I think that's getting ready to happen on them next too. Yeah, I'm thinking that they are going to start getting in their pocket.
They need to, because this is what if you're really trying to put a dent in illegal immigration, then you need to stop incentivizing these companies to hire these illegals in the first place.
What is America built on, Brother Che? You know this as well as I do. Greed.
Yep. So he kept his promise about the mass deportation, but if you're not going to go after the corporations that's hiring these illegals, then what are you really doing?
Right. And then on top of it, man, when is he going to cut the damn check for us?
Well, I've been saying that for the longest he was going to do it, Shabaka.
Yeah.
Does the last year in office to do it, but I'm not ruling it out.
Right.
To deport illegal immigrants back to their country of origin instead of sending them to the wrong countries. Well, certain countries I said they'd take them. Like I said, Uganda said they would take them. There's another country, it's escaping me right now. They said they would take them.
Traore don't want them. He already made that clear.
No, it's not Burkina Faso. It's Uganda and another country. I want to say not Botswana. Is it Botswana? What country was Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe wants them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zimbabwe.
Because I doubt it seriously if Robert Mugabe would have took them fools.
Well, Mugabe kicked out the white settlers, remember?
Yep, that was great news. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great news.
All right, so I mean, it's a nice raid, but you got to do better than this, dump.
Mm-hmm.
You got to actually hit these corporations where it hurts.
In the pocketbook.
Right. All right, so moving along, Shabaka. We got are foreigners trying to use celebrities to tether on to FBA lineage?
I would say in the realms that I understand your question, I would say yes.
Yes. So Tariq gonna give us an update on that. Once this loads up, so the computer is real sluggish.
YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. So I changed it.
and subscribe. Darling Radio. Like and
Yeah, that's a good idea, man.
Absolutely. So yeah, I was listening to you cook. I love listening to you cook. I've called in a couple of times. So I have a question. With the amalgamation that we have encountered, what do we do with the lineage that is mixed with like different cultures or different admixtures? Like my kids are like very fair, and I have admixture in me, but I don't look like I do. So I'm wondering, like, when we start to
The
talk
imitation
about
of life.
things of we're not Pan-African, which I'm not, we're not Africans, which I've never been to Africa. What do we do in terms of regarding them? The ones that are half black or look half black or whatever. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, if a lot of these people, and thank you for the call, a lot of these other groups, man, who are half this, half that, usually they're never really embraced by that other side. Let's just be real. Those other sides don't embrace. When you got the black, those other sides are going to other you. All right. If you are like a Karuchi or something and black and Asian, that Asian community doesn't fully embrace your ass. That's what it is. So I respect people who understand what it is. As a black person, they're going to ride for the black community. The problem is you got a lot of these people who got these dual allegiances and they want to be accepted by their Asian side or their Hispanic side or their white side. So that gets into a danger zone because that got us in this situation in the first place. Over there with them damn Lancados in Africa, mixing with them Portuguese, they became a whole little mulatto ethnic group, and they were some of the biggest facilitators of the damn slave trade. All right. I talked about that the other day. Some of those mixed cats who want to identify with the colonizer ass fathers. You understand? They wanted to identify with them colonizer ass fathers, them Portuguese fathers or them Arab fathers. And then we get a goddamn Myron Gaines running around here. We can't do shit with that. You understand? We can't do a damn thing with that. So when a person is mixed, who are they mixed with? That's very important. Who are they mixed with? Are they mixed with Arab? Are they mixed with Asian? Are they mixed with Hispanic? Are they mixed with English, white? So that kind of has a lot to do with it. Because the black people who are mixed with some British or whatever, see, the British, and Neely Fuller talked about this. See, some of these people colonize folks in different, unique ways. The British colonized people and had children by black women, but the British just never claimed them. See, the English white supremacists, they didn't claim their kids. And they had mulattoes and octoroon kids running around all over the place. They were like, yeah, I don't know these niggas. Get them out there in the field, man. And have them pick cotton. I don't know them. Spanish and the other people were a little bit different. The Spanish, they would, oh, that's my cousin. That's my little Nino. So you would welcome them to the family to a certain extent. You would still kind of marginalize them, but you would let them in the house. You would acknowledge them as a relative. That's why there's so much confusion in the Hispanic community. All right. That's why there's a lot of confusion. That's why you got these pale-skinned Hispanics with a black abuela somewhere living in a village. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to be like the alt-right, but then they want to be a person of color when it's convenient. So they have all of this racial schizophrenia going on. You understand? So yeah, we don't want none of that confusion. That's why everybody has to come to us, because we're not under no illusions. We understand as foundational Black American, none of that mixed stuff don't matter. See, the Creoles, they eventually learned the hard way. The Creoles down in Louisiana, the French was playing that little game with them too. And then when that Louisiana Purchase happened, and then the English white supremacists got a hold of that place, they were like, okay, who are all these light-skinned niggas? No, we're Creole. Who? Cree who? Yeah, we're Creole. We're a little bit different. Okay, get your ass over there in the 5th Ward with them other Negroes. They're like, hey, we don't play that. All y'all black. You know? So yeah, the British white supremacists operated a little bit differently. So, which was, that was a gift and a curse. That made us way more resilient because we were not under any illusion that we were family with these people, which is good. I like truth. Yeah, I like truth. Let's get some more people in here. Shout out to everybody in here. I see Nikki the God. I see Cousin Jerry down there. Everybody's in here. I see Leslie down there. I see all of you. We in here deep. All right. Y'all raise those hands. Raise those hands, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get y'all in here. Let's see what's on your mind. All right. Let's get grassroots.
Hello.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, what's up, family? What's up, Tariq?
Hey, man, what's going on with you?
So I was gonna be quick.
Go ahead.
I'm cool. I'm cool. I was gonna say it was 2 points because it was like I always find it funny when I listen to Spaces. They never take credit for anything that goes on within their communities. It's like you, Jason Blacc, y'all drop like facts on like what goes on in their nations. Like he said, "Oh, we emulating Black Americans." I mean, when you talk about the Haitian Revolution, once they got free and then they turned on them, that's not Black Americans. Y'all did that on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't speak on us. That's not us.
All right. Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But thank you for the call, brother. All right, let's get Jao Millennia. What's up, brother Jao? Or Jao? Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. All right, while we're waiting on Jao.
My bad. It's Wild Millennia. Can you hear me?
There you go. What's up? I can hear you. What's happening, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Peace. Just actually wondering when it comes to the actual like who's FBA or / Solana or ADOS or whatever you want to call it. I see there's this Querskian, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, where Querskian, where it's like this actual mixed race, actual community that's claiming to be actually like FBA, but I don't know if they're actually FBA all the way.
Who is this?
Because
I don't know what you're talking about. Who is that?
Hold up. Let's see if I can actually.
I ain't never heard of
Korskargian. They're pretty much this actual like mixed race, actual ethnicity that they're claiming to actually be FBA. That's in the actual Appalachian actual region. And I was wondering your thoughts on the actual community when it comes to actually them claiming to be FBA, actual.
I've never heard of them, sir. I've never heard that name. I don't know if you're pronouncing it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's QARSHERSKIYAN.
I don't know. I haven't heard of them before. Yeah. Heard it.
Okay.
So
I just wanted. Yes, sir.
Classified as Black?
Well, like they're actually like mixed race. They're kind of like the Creoles, pretty much. Like I know you guys were talking about the Creoles like not too long ago. They're pretty much kind of like that. Like they're like light skinned, but yet you could tell they're biracial, but yet they're kind of like, on the side where like you kind of like racially ambiguous, or you kind of can't tell like what they're.
It almost sounds like the Melungian. Almost.
Yeah, no, kind of similar.
Okay.
It's like one of those where it's like you can't kind of tell, it's a lot of actual like, groups or ethnicities that's like claiming to actually attach themselves to a FBA or African American or, our heritage. So
Right, yeah, but I haven't heard of them in particular. Now, while you are, what are you?
I'm Solon, FBA, ADOS. I'm not really too particular on the actual, um, I'm not too particular on the actual title as long as it's actually particular to the actual ethnicity, which is a descendant of enslaved, African Americans from Florida in particularly, but lower like Georgia, lower Georgia, North Florida, kind of like Gaddens County, Florida, Early County of Georgia.
And what's the flag? You got two. I know you got the African American flag, or the Black History flag. You got another flag. What's that other flag?
I got the other flag. The other flag is pretty much like a cohesive flag when it comes to the actual nonprofit that I'm in. I'm in an as you see on my like actual profile, I'm in a Village Society nonprofit, which is a nonprofit that kind of like just deals with the community, and that's kind of like the flag for the actual nonprofit.
Is it Pan African?
But
It sounds like Pan African.
it tethers. It has a couple of Pan African actually in the organization, but it also has a lot of like ground rooted FBA in the organization.
No,
I'm not actually like a Pan African hater, but I'm definitely not a Pan African.
Now, wow, where's your family from, brother?
My family's from Florida, Gaddens County and like Early County, like Georgia.
No Caribbeans? Any Caribbeans in the family?
Actually, no Caribbeans, but a lot of like Gullah Geechee within like the Georgia region when it comes to like Ma Duke side on the like father side.
Okay. All right, let me get my brother Robbie in. Robbie, what's up, Robbie? Let me get Robbie Blue in. What's up, Robbie?
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you great, brother. What's happening?
I just had to trade in my Obama 16, you know what I mean? So now players doing good. I just want to say, man, that everything that you said on your monologue was very inspiring. It was very educational, and it's so spot on. My question to you is, I know you've done plenty of films and you probably have, done, a great job even alluding to some of those things in previous films, but I was so impacted by everything that you said. Would you consider maybe doing a film on just how something like the Harlem Renaissance just had a global impact, and how, like, even right now today, we're just combating all of these negative stereotypes, all these, 4chan, ignorant tactics that basically lie on us and our lineage. And when I'm hearing all these people coming up here acting like they're confused about what being on code is, because that's really what it's all about. You don't have to be foundational Black American because you're not going to get our reparations, right? That's really what all it is. Like you say, people are just trying to finesse and find a way to get reparations. But in terms of being on code and taking our lead, I think that we're, history rhymes, it's repeating itself, and you're seeing intellectuals and entertainers and people like yourself that are pillars. And I feel like it's combustionable, and we're going to make an impact again. And you're already making an impact. So if you could expand on that, maybe you already have plans to do that. Maybe you've already done it. But I think I speak for everyone here, man, that was golden. And I'll land my plane.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, brother Robbie. All right. Okay, brother Wild. Thank you so much. Oh, brother Wild, any last words? Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm landing my plane. Yes, sir. Appreciate it for having me.
Man, thank you so much. But yeah, listen.
Yes, sir.
Listen about Lineage. We got to understand something. We got to really understand something that's going on out here when it comes to Lineage, because people are trying to backdoor their way into the lineage, and we gotta watch folks. We really got to watch people and watch their moves. I saw something now. You know what they're doing now? Now, you know they've been trying to do this whole thing where they're trying to say, well, Drake, they've been trying to argue with us about Drake being FBA because of his dad. Because his dad is foundational Black American, and we know Drake is a Canadian Jew. So he's a Canadian Jewish guy. So that's the opposite of a foundational Black American. So they've been trying to backdoor their way into the lineage by using Drake. Now you know what they're trying to do? They done dug up some stuff on our good late sister Aaliyah, the great singer, the late singer Aaliyah. Now her dad was of Jamaican descent, and he died. Michael Houghton, I think that was his name. I forgot. But Aaliyah's dad, he was Jamaican. He had Jamaican descent, from what I understand. But her mother was FBA. And Aaliyah's FBA. She was as a foundational Black American mother.
Shabaka, I don't know why you do this. I don't know why you hate Tariq so damn much. But I literally have watched everything that he's produced. Nothing is bad about nothing that he's produced. It has real good information in everything he's produced. So I don't understand why you have this disdain for Tariq so much. It's just crazy to me.
Okay, I'm going to explain. Hear me out.
Even
I've called up this show numerous times, at least 10. And that clown never accepted none of my calls.
And then you call in, Shabaka. You call in at the very end of the show. You have a bad habit of doing that. No, hear me out, Shabaka. Hear me out, Shabaka. Hear me out. When I invite you on to shows, do you come on immediately? No. You come on an hour, a half hour after I invite you on. You have a bad habit of that. If you're doing that on the Twitter Spaces, of course it's not going to acknowledge you. I told you, you got to get the very beginning of it. I've been on his show, I don't know how many times now, at least a handful of times.
Really?
I don't have no issues getting on there. So I don't know how you have these issues getting on there, but I don't have none of these issues that you're talking about.
Let me know. Okay, well, Brother Jay, just let me know in the future, when his show is going to start, and I try to get on there with you.
Okay.
All right.
Non-FBA dad, allegedly. I don't know the extent of his lineage. I don't know if it's half Jamaican or whatever. It might have been half Jamaican, but I know he has some Jamaican ancestry. But the mother's FBA, and not only that, I think they're connected to a Native American tribe on the mother's side. So Leah's FBA, or that sister was FBA. Drake is not. Drake, there was no cultural continuity with Drake. And that's self-explanatory. But this is how desperate these tethers are. Look, your FBA status, that comes in the bloodline and your cultural lineage and your repatriation history. See, Aaliyah was born and raised, culturally associated, and socialized in a foundational Black American household. Yeah. Her mother and her mother's family, they were FBA. She was raised in a Black American city, Detroit. Was she born in Detroit? She was embedded with foundational Black American traditions, values, music, social experience. Drake, and I like Drake. Let's get something straight. I like Drake. I love Drake's music. Drake is just not FBA. Drake was raised in Canada by a white Jewish mother, had a bar mitzvah, completely outside of the foundational Black American lived experience and community structure. Yeah? When you hear Drake talks with a damn Canadian accent. That makes you the opposite of a foundational Black American. Foundational Black Americans don't have Canadian damn accents. All right? The tethers, they want to try to blur the cultural and lineage distinction. See, the tethers, this is why they use mixed lineage celebrities to try to tether themselves onto our identity. They've been trying to find a way, they've been trying to find an in. They've been trying to slide through the back door. They're trying to find anything to latch on to our damn lineage. Especially when it's a globally influential celebrity. So they try to do this strategic appropriation and they try to blur the lineage distinction so they can benefit from our foundational Black American cultural capital without having to pay your historic and cultural dues. Listen, it's bloodline and it's community experience and its cultural continuity.
Right now, Sabah.
You understand? Drake has never lived or participated in foundational Black American communities. He wasn't subjugated to very specific social conditioning and systematic targeting and cultural contributions that define our lineage. Aaliyah lived fully within that culture. You understand? Even with her Jamaican father, his ass was over here in our shit. Yeah, both parents had their asses over here. That's a major difference. Major difference here. And a lot of the tethers, they try to use Drake selectively for clout. You know, they don't really claim Drake when he start talking about being biracial and when he avoids political issues tied to blackness. You know, when Drake stays quiet on anti-FBA topics, when Drake was wearing blackface and all that shit. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I agree.
When the Clips busted him out on that.
Birthday twin. We have the same.
Yeah, but when it's time to gain proximity to foundational Black American success or influence, now they want to highlight his father's lineage. Yeah. See, the real goal is for them to basically hijack foundational Black American legitimacy. You know? They want to legitimize their place in our conversations. And listen, cultural output matters. Even Aaliyah's music, you know, is rooted in R&B, gospel, soul, hip hop traditions. And Drake, in his early work, it was patterned on Canadian rap sensibilities and all that stuff. That's why Kendrick Lamar was clowning the shit out of him. Why you think They Not Like Us? Listen to They Not Like Us. He was calling him out for appropriating the culture. That's what the song was. That's what Kendrick Lamar was calling him out for. You got to come out here with the slaves, yeah, to really get your weight up. You got to go down to Atlanta where slavery was present and prevalent to get your weight up. That's what the song was calling him out about. Like, you are not authentic of this culture. You're not like us. Huh? And the Tethers have been mad about that. Let's be real. The Tethers don't not like us. They've been, the Tethers feel a certain way. They feel attacked by not like us, by the way. This is why they've been on this old Drake FBA too, because yeah, he got whooped on so bad by Kendrick. So the Tethers felt like they got whooped on by proxy. Yeah. Oh yeah, my brother just hit me up. Yeah, look, we've been calling, our FBA's been calling Drake out for the long. And I like Drake, by the way. I like Drake for what he is, but y'all remember DMX calling him out? DMX was on the Breakfast Club years ago. Like, I don't like Drake. I don't like his face. I don't like nothing about him. I don't like the way he sounds. I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he dressed. I don't like nothing about him. Yeah. So yeah, the Tethers, they already feel a certain way that Kendrick lineage whooped Drake. And by proxy, he lineage whooped them. So this is why they're trying to weasel. Well, Drake is technically, well, he is like y'all, kind of, sort of, because his dad and whoop, nah. And no disrespect to Drake again. I like Drake, but he's non-FBA. There was no cultural continuity there in the song Not Like Us. It had some valid points about lineage. You know? And that whole backdoor tactic, that's cultural parasitism. You know, trying to attempt to tether on to Aaliyah and Drake. It's not about no struggle and no shared unity. That's about benefiting from the legacy of foundational Black Americans while avoiding the full cost of it. That's just more parasitism. Let me get some more people in here. What's your name? Tamimi?
Yes, sir. Tabib. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam. How are you?
Good. I
That's
can
fine.
talk about a few things, but
That's
I want
fine.
to tell you
I don't know
to
why you
pick
keep
and
getting
choose. I
on
can
that
talk about
live.
Ziryab,
That's just
can talk about Black Athena, can talk about Lineage, and I can talk about
No ponies
the common
and
enemy and
go.
Eurocentrism.
And we
So what
both
do you
agree
want?
on it.
Quit hating on the
So Zira,
Broncos,
what
brother.
do you want to talk about as
The
far as
Gators
Zira?
ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't gonna
Ziryab, I heard you talk about Ziryab
soon.
a
They got
few
the red
days ago, and you told that Ziryab was the master of etiquette, and that's true. And I want to say that everything you said about Ziryab is
Y'all
true.
gotta win
Ziryab is
every
the
game.
master of etiquette, and he
You're not gonna
was
do
a black guy from Mosul, from the north of Iraq. He moved all the way to Andalusia, and at that time he was a teacher of etiquette, of how to eat, how to dress, how to dance, how to do all sorts of style, and he's a master of style, and he's a master of fashion.
Yes, he was absolutely. But let
And
me get some more calls. Your accent is a little bit heavy. Much respect. Let's get Halo. Let's get Miss Halo.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, Halo?
I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm FBA.
good. What city you in, dear?
I'm in
Oh, there
Texas.
you go. What's on your mind, Halo?
Okay, so I'm a FBA TikToker. I be hosting my own panels on TikTok. I just want to know what's your thoughts of these Igbo people, right? Hosting rodeos, black rodeos.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you know it or not, but I feel like that's disrespectful and that's a cultural appropriation. Like the nerves, they have no boundaries.
Where are they doing this?
Um, I think it's somewhere in Texas they were doing it, but I mean, I had posted it on my page and stuff. Like I even said something to the girl about it. Like she was promoting it. Like she was like, "Oh, we're all just one, and we're all just blending in." I leave my little comments below saying, "No, we're not one. This is cultural appropriation. It's not cool for us to go into your little tribes and use your little things. So coming over here is not a free for all. You don't just pick up anything you want off the shelf and then think you can claim it or blend in with us. We know our people. We know you by the head shapes. We know you by the hairlines. We know you by your smell. I mean, at this point, you don't look like us. And this is our culture, and this is the South. This is our ish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's disrespectful. And it's disrespectful.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna look into that rodeo thing. Thank you. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, we got a family. Look, see, this is why it's important,
Talking
FBA
about in
family. You
regards to
value
rodeo.
your history. You gotta value your history. Other people do. Other people value it, and other people are going to monetize it. See, the thing is, we're so used to it's like normal to us. It's like because we grew up in it, we see it every day, we live it. So it's just normal to us to see certain things within our culture. But from the outside looking in, family, there's so much value to foundational Black American culture. People, they try to play this little Jedi mind trick on us. Family, you don't understand how valuable you are culturally. I want foundational Black Americans to really grasp that, how valuable you are culturally, how valuable your culture is, how people sit up here and study you all the damn time. You see, though, the white supremacists are always watching what the hell you do. The Tethers are watching what you do all the damn time. You got whole corporations that have marketing firms that sit up and monitor what foundational Black Americans do on the internet all day, looking for the next cultural trend. These people sit up here and look at us and study us, waiting on the new trend. I want us to understand how important we are. That's why this Renaissance movement is so important, because we're recognizing that. That's why why do you think so many people keep trying to undermine that shit? You're not undermining something that's not a threat. You ain't trying to discredit something that's not a threat. They're constantly trying to undermine us. They're constantly trying to discredit us because they know once we realize that we have been the power source all along, family, in just the last few years, us recognizing our lineage and standing on lineage business, we done shut down a whole bunch of shit. just in the last few years by just getting on code with each other. We done shut down a lot of bullshit. We done shut down the Democrats with their bullshit and let them know, hey, you're not going to take us for granted. We shut them down. Shut down the shenanigans at BET with Fat Joe and all of that. Shut that down. Fat Joe thought he was going to get out here and talk greasy. His career has been on a downward trajectory ever since. You understand? Shut down the shenanigans at Essence. They had to start giving people the axe over at Essence because we said, no, this ain't going to fly. You see? We starting to shut stuff down once we get on code. And that's something that they've always feared. When people get around us and start showing disrespect, we show them, hey, man, if we ain't co-signing it, it's not going to really pop like that. Ask your girl Tyler, the singer, shut her stuff down. All we did was just not support it. Since y'all kept running around telling us she was going to be the next Beyonce and she's going to be the next Aaliyah and we are haters. And all right, well, y'all go ahead and support them records. We're going to sit this one out. When people start talking about not going to them African braiding shops, well, you saw people were hopping on TikTok, copping please. Hello, brothers. Hello, my brothers and sisters. We're all the same niggas. You know, they start copping please. Yeah, they were having hissy fits all on social media when Black people are talking about not going to their shops. Oh, they were having fits. Oh man, they were offering us egusi and fufu, and I made some fried chicken with some starch on it. I don't eat that, but okay. But yeah, we better understand who the hell we are. Understand who you are, FBA family. What's your name, brother? Command Dev. Command Dev.
Tariq,
I can hear you. How you doing, brother?
Perfect. I have a marketing question, but first I want to talk about Lineage, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, so for my Lineage question, if I'm FBA and if my lady, she's FBA, if we're both in Okinawa and we have a child that's FBA, are they still considered FBA because that's how Lineage work? Even if they grow up in Okinawa in Japan, like their whole life?
A lot of if that child is growing up in Okinawa, that child might be subject to an ethnogenesis. You know what I'm saying? That's how ethnogenesis works.
Like, you're hating on your own culture, Shabaka. It just makes no sense to me. You keep saying, I bet he eats hog guts. A lot of our people
don't eat no hog guts, man.
Okay, that's you, Shabaka. But that's not the vast majority of our people in this country. That's why I don't understand why you do this. Like, and then you and crew always get into it in the chat or on the panel. Like, this is ridiculous. Can we have one show without y'all getting into it?
Hey man, I don't acknowledge that fool. I don't say nothing to him.
Shabaka, you're acknowledging him in the chats. I'm like, really, I'm reading the chat. Like, I gotta stop doing this. I am sure Tariq eat hog guts. He probably does, Shabaka. A lot of FBAs eat hog guts. There's nothing you can. Okay, that's you, Shabaka. There's nothing you can do about that, though.
Well,
you can't,
I feel sorry for him.
Shabaka, stop. You can't stop people from eating hog guts.
Well, check.
If your personal preference is you don't eat it, that's on you, Shabaka. But irregardless, that's still part of our culture. And there's nothing you can do or say that's going to change that.
Well, if people want to eat hog guts, man, that's on them. Just don't offer me none of this shit. I would take it as an
offering
insult.
you nothing, Shabaka. Like, I don't understand why you do this. Like, and then we end up getting into these bushmeat conversations. Like, it's like you just purposely want to antagonize and argue and debate about simple stuff. It makes no sense to me.
Let's continue with the show, brother Check.
All right, Shabaka, what are your thoughts on our foreigners trying to use celebrities to tether onto FBA lineage?
Okay, well, they're going to get a rude awakening, when they get here, you know what I'm saying, to the U.S. And then the cold part about it is, as I said before, even on Shabaka's Black, all this here is just the elements of the colonialism and the neo-colonialism.
Shabaka, we can only go with that excuse for so long. At
No,
some
I'm just
point, though, Shabaka, you're either going to be ignorant willingly or mistakenly. At this point, they're being willfully ignorant.
Yeah, but still though, you still. Yeah, I would just like to see it, man, without the element of the neo-colonialism. Is because this is why they hate on Traore so bad, because he's kicking all them fools up out of there.
Nobody keep on Traore, Shabaka. He's literally letting in the Russians. What is there to hate on? They literally went from one colonizer to another colonizer. There's nothing to hate on there.
Well, hopefully, man, I'm hoping
he got rid of the French. That's about it.
A switcheroo on him. That's what I'm hoping.
On the Russians.
Okay, yeah, because see, Bruce Lee said something, man, that was very, very interesting. In any given situation, take what is useful, leave what is useless. So, like me and Jay Dizzle said that we discussed, hopefully Traore is doing the right thing. Hopefully, they say, and I put a big emphasis on the word hopefully, because he still has got to. Now I'm talking about Traore. That is, he still has got to show me a lot more than what he's doing. Now I do appreciate him kicking out the French. You know what I'm saying? I do appreciate him trying to nationalize all of the Pinnacle Fowl's resources. I do appreciate him trying to upgrade the quality of living there. Say, with his water treatments that he's trying to do as well, too.
Okay, Shabaka, what does that have to do with this topic, though? We're talking about foreigners trying to use our celebrities to tether on to FBA. He was talking about Drake. He was talking about Aaliyah. He was talking about several celebrities that they're trying to use. Say, well, they have a parent that was FBA, so are they FBA? That's what the Twitter space was about. So what are your thoughts?
All right, to answer your question directly, I have no comment on that.
All right, so yeah, they're trying to use these celebrities to tether on to FBA.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Just like the Raiders gonna beat the Ponies.
Y'all wish in your dreams, Shabaka. Yeah, just enjoy your win against the New England Patriots, Shabaka.
And when do you say we play?
We play in November, Shabaka.
All right, okay.
And then we play again in December.
Oh, okay. Generally, we start in September and play at the end. So I see
they switched it up.
Yeah, because I forgot how they select the schedules, man.
It's based off of how many losses you had the previous season.
Okay. Jay Milliton, what's happening?
Hey, what's cracking, Jay Milliton? I was just talking about these damn tethers trying to tether on the FBA. So they're trying to say our sister Aaliyah, who was my birthday twin, since she had a Jamaican father, that she's not FBA, even though her mother was FBA and she was raised in the FBA household and she was raised around FBA culture. So, what up, DG?
Oh, the Bills beat the Ravens.
Yeah, I know they came back at the last minute. I seen that. They was down 15 points in the fourth quarter and came back and won by 1 point. The Broncos won. Yeah, they did. And Elway was at the game. Yep.
And later for the Ponies, man.
Later for the Gators, Shabaka. Nobody got no time for that.
Yeah, you mean the Raiders.
Yeah, whenever they started to play like Raiders, while they're shipwrecked at the bottom of shipwrecked in the middle of the desert, Shabaka.
Hey, we sell ships on dry land.
You're not selling nowhere. Y'all are shipwrecked. And
We'll see. We'll see. They still got to win 2 more games to get back my unconditional support.
yep, 7's up. Yeah. Congratulations to your Niners again, cuz. The
Oh,
Niners
yeah,
won.
what's the 49ers is doing? That's my second best team.
They beat the Seahawks earlier.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, the Ravens is going to eat that loss for a good minute. Yeah. They let them stick around too long. I mean, they thought 15 points was going to be enough, and clearly it wasn't.
Hey, Jay Milliton, how do you think Terrence Crawford is going to do in a few nights against Canelo Alvarez?
Let's wait for his response. And while we're waiting for his response, I'm going to move to the next topic. So,
right.
Why you can't pay to be added to the the B1 Rolodex. So I'm in the Rolodex. Shout out to Black Truth United. The young brother set up this Rolodex for Black first businesses. And there is a section where you can put anti-Black businesses as well. So he's basically going to lay out how you cannot pay to get your way on there. Everybody talking about Melo. Oh yeah, Carmelo got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Shout out to Carmelo. I met him. He was real cool. He was real cool.
Right.
When I worked
And then also, too, if I may, Brother Chair, I want to give a shout out there to Word Radio out of Philadelphia. I reached out to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. We need to reach out to Street Media TV too. He's out of Philadelphia as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
I played a couple of his videos before on here.
Mm-hmm.
They shouted us out, right, Shabaka? That's what you said?
Yeah, Word Radio did. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he
Lord.
shouted out Shabaka's Black Experience, but that's still,
yeah.
But that's still part of the same crew, you know what I mean?
It's all frontline campaign. The White Howard goofy ass too got in. Oh, what? They inducted the White Howard too? That old weirdo. Oh my god. I didn't know that part. But congratulations to Melo.
Yeah, I remember Carmelo Anthony. And I told you when I was in Denver one year, I did meet J.R. Richard, when they lost to the Lakers.
I'm talking about J.R. Smith.
Yeah, J.R. Smith, when they were playing the Lakers and they got smashed by the Lakers, which was great.
Slew family.
Oh gosh, if I could don't remind me of that book. That's when the Lakers were actually good.
Yeah, man, they need work. They need work bad. Yeah, they need a whole lot of work.
And welcome back to another video. This is Black Truth United. And in this video, I want to start off by saying thank you to all the new subscribers. Just last week, we were at 290 something. And now, at least at the time of recording this video, we're sitting at over 500. So much respect to all of you. I know most of you are coming from the Black Alpha Network live that I was on Tuesday. Shout out to Brother Black Alpha for having me on and spreading the word. If you happen to be a subscriber who's not yet subscribed to Brother Black Alpha, definitely subscribe to him up there. Not only is he a great voice in the new Blacc Media, but he's active when the screen shuts. So once again, shout out to him. Now, with more of a spotlight on the work I've been doing with the B1 Rolodex, the trolls, the Mayo mutants, and the teary-eyed tethers would show up, copying pleas, trying to weasel their way into the B1 Rolodex and the work that we've been doing, trying to make sure that they don't get listed in the anti-black list, etc., etc. And while some of them are very direct, others will try to do slick things like ask vague questions, pretend like they don't understand. And others were even bold enough to email me about whether or not they could just pay to be listed. So in this video, I'm going to explain once and for all exactly how to be listed and why it does not involve money. So let me go here right to the B1 Rolodex. Today, for the most part, we're going to be in the intro and help section. This is where we have a brief explanation of why I started the B1 Rolodex, how to use it, a tutorial video, etc., etc. But right here we have the business listing rules, which haven't really changed for the most part since I started the Rolodex. So here are the rules. No MLM/network marketing companies. I have a whole video on this channel explaining exactly why. No spiritual or religious organizations. I don't want religious banging going on. No Forex, crypto, etc., etc. Most of those are scams. Affiliate marketing, not allowed. Illegal products such as drugs or guns. Of course, if you have a legal FFL company, you can get that business listed. And no OnlyFans, XXX content, or anything like that. These are fairly basic rules. Now, after these, I break down even further how you can reach out to me. I have my email listed there, and the rules for if you are non-FBA. The main one being that you'll need 2 people who are FBA and who are connected to the Black grassroots to vouch for you. Now, because I got some mixed responses, and when some people would reach out, I would be left with question marks, I made a convenient form, which you can go to right here, that puts it all in one concise manner. Your name or alias in the Black grassroots, putting a value on that name. If you are FBA or not, if the business owner is FBA, and if not, just like in the instructional section, you have to list 2 people who can vouch for you, who are in the Black grassroots. And I give an example there afterwards. Again, we're putting a value on being on code. Then, of course, you have the business information, as well as at the very bottom, a place where I can contact you, the person who's submitting the form. So simple enough, right? But then you had some people who decided they were going to just reach out to my email or through private messaging to see if they could bypass that whole process and just go.
I don't know why you always try to get us sidetracked. What does that have to do with the B1 Rolodex? The dump capitalizing on for crypto, okay. What does that have to do with this, though? He has his own Bitcoin. I mean, you just want him to fail, Shabaka. I see where you're going with this, but it's just like, what does it have to do with the topic at hand?
I was just mentioning it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they got his sons
Oh,
up
right
there
here.
with
Hey, you have a Cash App. I could just Cash App you.
Huh?
No, I was just mentioning it, man, because hopefully, man, is that they could probably start trying to build a case to impeach Trump a 3rd time.
I said we can keep on dreaming, and they're not gonna impeach Trump. Like, even if they was, he's not going nowhere. Like, the only way he's leaving office is if it's in a casket, Shabaka, at this point. So,
yeah. Well, to quote you, Brother Che, in a perfect world, you know what I mean? You know, he'll get around it. And I
Either
thought
that
that
or
the
they went to my
president,
link tree and saw it.
Huh?
no, I thought the president couldn't do any type of business or what have you, man, while he was in office. I thought he had to put all his business holdings in trust.
Yeah, I thought so too, Shabaka, but he probably found a loophole around that.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's continue.
Cash App, and they just figured, hey, we'll just pay this guy and have him get us listed and not have to follow the rules that everyone else has to follow. And by the way, clowns, because I know you're listening right now, if you try to get smart and contact the other contributors who can theoretically add you, I have multiple ways of countering that and finding out what you've done. But anyway, there's a reason why you can't just pay to be listed in the B1 Rolodex. And the reason is I'm preserving the integrity of the data in the B1 Rolodex. If anyone can just pay to be listed, there's really no value in the data because you don't know who's paid for a listing. And the natural question arises, who would pay to be listed if they could get listed for free for being either FBA or B1? And the natural answer is someone who is either non-FBA or not B1. They don't have a proven track record of being for the community. Those are not people that we want on the B1 Rolodex. And for all we know, these could be people who aren't even quote unquote black. Also, the money could be coming from those dark money dollars from either the Democrats or the Republicans because they recently released that article regarding the Dems, but we know the Republicans do the same thing. But no, we're putting a value on the lineage. We're putting a value on being on code. And don't worry, I'm keeping track of just how much people are willing to pay to be listed on the B1 Rolodex because what it indicates is We have the value, family. I want you to see this as a victory for us. Not just a victory for me, but a victory for all of us, because we've collectively put a tangible value on being of the lineage, whether you acknowledge that or not. And the lineage is not something you can buy into. Being on code, even if you're not necessarily of the lineage, I would guess about 4% of the people listed are not of the lineage, but it puts a value on being on code. This can't just be bought with a wad of cash. And don't get me wrong, I do value your contributions. In fact, let me shout out right now recent contributors, Sister FBA Queen, Brother Rodney, and Eber Manuel. Much respect, and thank you for your contributions. But of course, donating to the B1 Rolodex or the channel is very different than throwing a wad of cash at something to get your business listed. And this is something that the white supremacists can't comprehend. You see, most people who are white supremacists have access to more cash. Even other groups are papered up much more than we are, given access to loans and all types of things. And most of these people think that everyone is like them, that they'll just do whatever it is for money. Oh, I'll just offer to pay him this so that he'll take me off of the anti-black list. Oh, I'll just send him some cash so that I can get my business listed. No, not everything is for sale. And I have a homework assignment for you, family. I want you to look up this video from our brother Malcolm X when the FBI went to him trying to get him to sell out, trying to bribe him. Now keep in mind, Malcolm X was not in a good financial state at the time, and they knew this. They knew he had been betrayed by some of the people who he trusted, and they tried to get him to compromise his integrity. But listen to how Malcolm X maintains his integrity in this clip. It's not a very long clip, but that's my homework assignment for you. And imagine if our brother Malcolm X did not maintain his integrity. They would have harped on that information forever, putting it in our face. And that's how we need to think. Especially in the digital age, damn near everything is recorded. And even if it's not recorded on an electronic device, it's definitely recorded in the book of life. So we've got to keep our integrity. And I am by no means attempting to equate myself to our great brother Malcolm X, but just on a small scale. Imagine if I would have just accepted the money for someone to be put onto the B1 Rolodex. That person could easily take screenshots and put a receipt together showing that, hey, it really doesn't mean that much to be listed on the B1 Rolodex. Anyone could just pay to be listed. Again, discrediting the integrity of the data. Now, I don't hate on anyone who has their own business or wants to use the data from the B1 Rolodex and do their own version. Maybe you want to charge people to be listed or for marketing or whatever it is. And I've never discouraged anyone from doing that. In fact, I go over in multiple videos how you can easily go to the B1 Rolodex and download all the data for yourself. I purposefully left these things open. Same thing with a map. You can hit copy map or just download the entire KML and upload it as if it's your own, revising things to your liking. But not the B1 Rolodex. You could create a website or an app or something along those lines where people could pay a price to be listed. But that's not something we allow with a B1 Rolodex. And if something should happen to me, I encourage whoever picks up the baton to continue this standard. There have to be things in life that are worth more than just a wad of cash. And one of those things should be our integrity. And another one of those things should or our proven track record of being on code. So hopefully this clears up all the questions. I do want to shout out the winner of the raffle contest from the B1 Rolodex as well. That was brother Tata Man. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being the one and only contestant / winner. And with all that being said, be one and be blessed, family. Peace.
Tater, man. I know who that is. All right, so you can't buy your way into the lineage, and you can't buy your way onto the Rolodex, and that's the way it should be. I agree. I'm in the Rolodex. I didn't pay to get on the Rolodex. This brother put me in there because he seen that I was a black first candidate and I was going to do something specifically for black people. So he decided to put me in there.
Every level of racist in America.
Put me in there. So shout out to Black Truth United. All right, so moving along, unless you have something to add, Shabaka, about this topic at hand.
Okay, I need more
you can't pay to be added to the Rolodex. Basically, it's a database, Shabaka, that's full of black-owned businesses, B1 businesses, preferably of FBA lineage. But like you said, like 4% of the businesses that's listed aren't FBA, but they're black first. So it's basically a modern-day green book, Shabaka.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jay Militant. I think you mean the Warriors are not going anywhere, because if that there was to happen, that there would be one of the biggest court cases in the civil court, man, for pro sports, man.
I don't know why you just be trying to antagonize everybody in the chat, Shabaki. I don't know why you.
No, Brother Jay, they was talking about it, but Frisco is not gonna allow it because
Frisco's not gonna allow that.
Yeah,
they got at least have one team. They got the Giants and they got the Warriors.
Yeah, and they still got the 49ers, although the 49ers play down there in SoFi Stadium in Santa Clara, but it's still the Bay Area.
No. But it's still a Bay Area team. That's the only Bay Area team left.
Yeah.
For the NFL.
Yeah, you mean the NBA, man? The NBA.
No, I'm talking about the Niners, Shabaka.
Oh, no, the Niners ain't going nowhere, man. They entrenched in San Francisco, man, indefinitely.
That's what I said. NFL team. This is the Raiders. Yeah. That's the only Bay Area NFL team left.
Yeah. The Niners ain't going nowhere, man, because see, they getting the market not only from San Francisco, but they're getting it from San Jose. They're also getting it from Oakland as well, too.
Okay, so I came across this video, real interesting video. It's about the 7 levels of racists. So the 7 levels. So see if you can spot the ones that you come in contact with every day, because they always say, oh, it's just the Ku Klux Klan, that's the racist. Oh, it's just the dump, that's the racist. And no, it's levels to this. So this video is about the levels to the various racists in America, racist white supremacists. Because that's the only form of racism is white supremacy. For you, come on, oh, anybody can be racist. No, that's a damn lie. So let me go there.
Explained. Level 1, the Karen. Let's start with everyone's favorite, the accidental racist.
Ew, she is not a customer. She is just some bum that wandered in off the street.
The Karen.
Oh, I saw
the person who swears they're not racist while saying the most racist stuff imaginable. New York, 2020. Amy Cooper sees a black man bird watching. And somehow her brain goes straight to 911. There's an African American man threatening my life, she says. Someone watching birds. These are your I have black friends people. They'll compliment your English like it's shocking you can speak. They'll touch your hair without asking. They'll tell you you're not like other black people and think that's a compliment. Philadelphia, 2018. 2 black men commit the heinous crime of existing in a Starbucks without buying coffee yet. The manager calls the cops.
Oh, they sued the shit out of them.
They get arrested for waiting.
They won.
For waiting. Level 1 racists don't burn
crosses.
I
remember that. We covered.
They just make your everyday life exhausting. 68% of workers deal with microaggressions regularly, but these people swear it's all misunderstandings. They're not trying to be racist. They're just really bad at not being racist. Parents literally have to teach kindergartners how to survive encounters with level 1 racists. But sure, it's just awkwardness, right? Here's the thing about accidental racists. They're everywhere, but they're symptoms of something way more organized. Level 2, the gatekeeper. Level 2 doesn't shout slurs. They smile politely and say, unfortunately, that position has been filled. While your resume is still warm from the printer, these are your HR managers, loan officers, real estate agents, and school administrators. They don't hate black people. They just happen to find reasons why black people don't quite fit. Chicago, 1930s. Government officials literally drew red lines around.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us of that there. Oh, Jay Mellencamp.
Too risky, they said. Cool. Totally normal behavior from professionals. Long Island, 2019. Real estate agents get caught on hidden camera. They show white couples the dream home and tell black couples with
They're not
identical
here.
finances that everything's already pending. Magic. It's almost like nothing changed except the paperwork got prettier. Today's gatekeepers call it culture fit in hiring. They point to credit scores without mentioning how those scores got tanked by discriminatory lending. Black home ownership sits at 46.4% compared to 75.8% for white families. Gee, wonder how that happened. Must be personal choice, right? School district administrators draw enrollment boundaries like military strategists, somehow always managing to separate rich white kids from poor black kids. It's not about race, it's about property values.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not racist. I watch Malcolm
Yeah,
X.
that's
How exactly
exactly.
do you think those
Yeah, and also too, Michael Pan, you're right.
dangerous? Because they have institutional power and plausible
Yeah,
deniability.
they do.
They're not burning crosses.
Michael.
They're just following company policy that mysteriously always hurts the same people.
Yeah.
But gatekeepers,
Seriously.
that's child's play. Sometimes they don't even bother with individual discrimination. Level 3, the colorblind. Level 3 is where we get really creative. Why write obviously racist laws when you can write colorblind ones that just happen to devastate black community? Pure coincidence, obviously. These are your state legislators, federal congresspeople, and policy wonks.
Yep.
They craft laws that sound totally fair on
that old
paper,
crusty
but work like
bastard right
surgical
there.
strikes against black communities. Washington, D.C.,
You know,
1986.
punk ass Reagan.
Congress decides crack, predominantly used in black communities, gets you 100 times the sentence of powder cocaine. Same drug, different packaging.
What was that?
But hey, the law doesn't mention race, so totally fair, right?
The fire alarm system?
These lawmakers love voter ID requirements. Everyone should have ID. Sure, except ID costs money.
Yeah, I'm
DMVs
not
are
racist.
mysteriously
My
rare in
parents
certain
walked
neighborhoods,
with Dr. King.
and some folks
God.
work 3 jobs without time for bureaucratic field trips. But technically, colorblind. Mission accomplished. They fund algorithms for hiring and lending without checking for bias. Facial recognition error rate for light-skinned men, 0.8%. For darker-skinned women, 34.7%. But it's just math, so it must be objective. They're not racist. They just signed off on systems that learned from our totally not racist data. The modern policymaker creates mass incarceration that looks totally legitimate.
Like
Voter suppression is technically legal. Algorithmic bias that scales discrimination to industrial levels, all while maintaining plausible deniability. They don't wear hoods. They wear suits and hide behind focus groups and polling data. But sometimes elected officials drop the act entirely and just go full authoritarian. Level 4, the enforcer. Level 4 is where your own government decides black people organizing is a national security threat. Not the Klan, not actual terrorists, people asking for equal rights. These are FBI agents, police chiefs, prosecutors, and intelligence officials who use the full power of the state to crush black leadership. California and Illinois, 1960s to 70s. FBI agents literally ran a program called COINTELPRO to neutralize black leadership. They didn't just spy, they actively sabotaged, imprisoned, and assassinated civil rights leaders.
Fred Hampton.
Chicago, December 1969.
Yeah.
FBI agents give Chicago police a detailed floor plan of Fred Hampton's apartment. They coordinate a raid at 4 a.m. while sleeping, and he gets shot in the head. 21 years old. His crime? Feeding kids breakfast and teaching community organizing. They bugged Martin Luther King Jr.'s hotel rooms.
Yeah, I knew it was Irish. Yeah.
And the FBI director literally called him the most dangerous Negro in America. These are federal agents. Think this is ancient history? Federal agents tracked Black Lives Matter organizers' cell phones, created fake social media accounts to monitor activists, and somehow, protesters keep ending up dead in cars and jail cells. But I'm sure it's all totally different now. Level 4 racists have badges, security clearances, and legal authority to destroy lives. They don't just discriminate, they wage war. Of course, when federal agents are too busy to handle things personally, there's always the street level enforcers.
That's a fact, Michael Pan.
Level 5, the uniform. Level 5 is where the people sworn to protect and serve become a threat, with badges, guns, and legal immunity to do whatever they want. These aren't bad apples, they're products of departments with bad cultures, bad training, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. police
I
officers don't just
visited the
allow a
Black
white
Wall
mob to
Street.
destroy the wealthiest black community in America, they call in air support to drop bombs. Actual bombs on American citizens. Then they blame the victims. Ferguson, Missouri, 2014. The Department of Justice finds police officers were basically running a legal extortion racket, targeting black residents for traffic tickets to fund the city budget. Almost like taxation without representation, but with tasers. New York City, 2000s. Police officers conduct 700,000 stop and frisk encounters per year, 90% on black and Latino men. Hit rate for finding weapons? About 1%. So basically, legal harassment with a 99% failure rate. But hey, they had quotas to meet. These officers pull over black drivers at twice the rate during the day, but the disparity disappears at night when they can't see races clearly. They arrest black kids for the same infractions that get white kids warnings. They patrol black neighborhoods like occupying armies. Level 5 racists have legal authority to use violence
Well, you know
while
what
investigating
Malcolm X
themselves.
said about that in
They
1962.
don't burn cross. They plant evidence and claim they feared for their lives. But uniform racism is still retail violence. When America really wants to get things done, we elect the people who write it into law. Level 6, the architect. Level 6 is where the cruelty becomes policy, not rogue cops or individual bigots. Elected officials who make oppression legal, systematic, and generational. These are governors, state legislators, Supreme Court justices, and federal officials who design the infrastructure of inequality. Virginia, 1705. State legislators don't just legalize owning humans. They systematically strip away every possible right. Can't own property, can't learn to read, can't gather in groups, can't defend yourself, can't testify in court. They write a manual for creating a permanent underclass. After slavery ends, these officials create convict leasing. Alabama, Georgia, Texas legislators turned prisons into slavery with extra steps.
California,
Black men get arrested for vagrancy, aka existing while poor, and leased to plantations and mines. Death rates higher than actual slavery, but technically legal. North Carolina officials, 1929 to 1974, run forced sterilization programs targeting undesirable populations. Guess who that meant?
Yeah, I saw that.
They
video,
sterilized
Jay
over
Miller.
7,600 people, mostly black women, without consent. State-sponsored medical abuse with a legal framework. Oregon legislators, 1844 to 1926, banned black people from living in the entire state. Not just slavery, straight up apartheid. Whites only carved into the state constitution. The liberal West Coast, everybody. Modern officials
sounds
build
like
highways
Oregon.
straight through black neighborhoods, like surgical strikes. I-10 through New Orleans, I-95 through Miami's Overtown. Urban renewal.
Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago.
More accurate. Level 6 racists don't just discriminate. They engineer society to make discrimination automatic. They don't wear hoods. They wear robes and sit in marble buildings. But even legal oppression requires paperwork and process. Sometimes people just say screw it and go full terrorist. Level 7, the terrorist. Level 7 is where we stop pretending there are rules. Domestic terrorists who use public violence to keep entire communities in line through sheer fear. These are Klan members, white extremists, white nationalists, and lone wolf shooters who believe in racial holy war. Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898. White extremist leaders literally overthrow a legally elected government and exile hundreds of residents. Not a riot. A coordinated coup by businessmen and politicians who decided democracy had gone too far. Rosewood, Florida, 1923. Klan members and local vigilantes descend on an entire black town after a white woman claims assault. They burn it to the ground, in the lives of residents, and survivors scatter into the swamps. The town never recovers. It's erased from maps. East St. Louis, Illinois, 1917. White mobs kill over 100 black residents and burn 300 homes. The North isn't exempt. Racism doesn't respect geography. Between 1877 and 1950, lynch mobs end the lives of over 4,000 black Americans. Public spectacles with postcards sold as
I've been
souvenirs.
pulled over by
Families
many
bring
of them,
big
Michael
lunches to
Pan.
watch torture. This is the foundation everything else is built on. Charleston Church, 2015. Buffalo Supermarket, 2022. Jacksonville Dollar General, 2023.
That's what it was.
Lone
Yeah.
gunman citing replacement
That's exactly
theory,
what it
targeting
was.
black spaces specifically. Level 7 racists don't hide behind policies or procedures. They commit terrorism in broad daylight and call it patriotism. They are the logical conclusion of everything that came before. The Karen didn't invent racism. She just inherited the infrastructure. Today's
Right.
results? Every level is operational. Karens in every workplace making daily life exhausting. Gatekeepers in every institution finding reasons to exclude. Policymakers writing colorblind laws that target with precision. Government agents surveilling and suppressing. Police officers enforcing the hierarchy with violence. Architects designing systematic oppression. Terrorists using fear as a weapon.
That's good.
Median white family has nearly 10 times the wealth of the median black family.
That's
Black
good,
students
Dad.
still disciplined at 3 times the rate. Voting rights under attack in multiple states. Same ladder, different people climbing it. Every type feeds the others. Karens normalize casual racism. Gatekeepers institutionalize it. Policymakers legalize it. Enforcers weaponize it. Uniforms legitimize it. Architects systematize it. Terrorists enforce it with violence. So here's the assignment. Which type of racist runs your area?
Oh,
Drop your state plus the level in the comments. We'll pin the worst examples and probably do a whole series on how other countries built their own versions of this hierarchy. Because here's the thing about America. We didn't invent racism, but we definitely perfected the distribution system. Subscribe if you want to see how deep this rabbit hole.
And subscribe to Frontline Black News. All right, Shabaka, what are your thoughts on the 7 levels of racists?
Yeah, I agree with it full wholeheartedly. And then also too, you got to mention New York. Well, that's a nice view of San Francisco right there. But you also too got to look at it in the educational system, in the medical system, the Tuskegee experiment. You see what I'm saying?
That was all government, Shabaka.
Yeah.
That was part of the levels. All the levels covered all of that.
Yeah. So what it is we should be building up our own infrastructures. You see what I'm saying? And then, as you have witnessed me do it, man, when I've mentioned that on Shabaka's Black Experience, they'll come in there, man, and I'll give them the business.
Yeah, but that was just one type. The ones that call in, that's the rank and file, Shabaka.
Yeah.
These aren't lawmakers. These aren't policy enforcers.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, on that, Michael Pan, you're right, because I've been a victim of that there too. License and registration. Yep.
Needs to put those bars on the track. I don't know. Who needs to put the bars on the track? I don't understand why white police officers say to black American drivers, license and registration. Have you noticed why they don't provide a reason for pulling over black American drivers?
Because they don't need one.
They're supposed to have probable cause.
Yeah, but Brother Che, in a perfect world, to quote you, what you write about.
Seems like Dr. Anderson was what Dr. Anderson was talking about. Yep. Exactly what Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about.
Now, here's something that's ironic. The last time I got pulled over by the police here in Las Vegas, they did tell me the reason they pulled me over because, you know, I had unregistered tags. You know what I'm saying? And I knew he was going to pull me over when he got behind me.
Yeah, white collar racism is dangerous as blue collar racism. Yep.
Well, Michael, I think it's more dangerous than blue collar racism, because with blue collar racism, man, you just whoop his ass, man. You know what I'm saying? But that white collar, oh yeah, them is the judges. You know what I'm saying? Them is the district attorneys. You know, them is the captains and the lieutenants and the deputy chiefs on like an entity like the LAPD.
Yeah.
You see, the blue collar racism is some fool that you're working with on a job that ain't paying much. You just go on and just whoop his ass.
Yeah, you'll lose your job though, more than likely, but yeah.
Yeah, but that white collar racism, yeah. It is more dangerous, Michael. It is more dangerous because see, they are the ones that
And they
set
have more,
policies.
it
Yes,
affects
they
more
do.
people than
Yeah,
just average run of the mill white supremacists.
right. So your Archie Bunker types are blue collar workers. Everybody remembers Archie Bunker.
Yes, about all in the family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like Archie Bunker, you just whoop his ass. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then you got to deal with the policy enforcers.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know.
You got to deal with the what was the other level that was above the policy enforcers? The judges, whichever level the judges fell under, you got to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, white collar
Yep.
racism and systematic racism, exactly.
Yeah, but also too, and also too, brother Chaz, with your educational background, man, when you go off into these kangaroo courts, if you get something like Jenny Perro or Judge Judy, when they go to you, hey, could I'm recusing you off the case. I need the paperwork.
Yep, you get that
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah, because I had a homie that fired 7 judges one time and he beat the rap. It was an uphill battle, but he recused 7 judges in California,
Wow, that's
in LA County.
wow.
Yeah.
White
That's
collar
right.
criminals are armed with gavels, exactly, crew. White collar people control blue collar people to fear black Americans through the media, policies, and propaganda. Yep.
And that's Hollywood. And that's Hollywood, Michael. And I don't know if you got with me and Che when we did the show on Hollywood about
Yeah, that's
how they
not just Hollywood.
perpetuate.
That's your local media, your
Yeah.
national media, all of that.
Oh yeah, just like that clown I told you that I saw this evening, brother Che, and I sent you the text on him, man.
Yeah.
He looks like a SS officer with the white hair, like Mike Pence.
He looks
You
like
know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tweety Bo.
Miller.
Yeah, Tweety Bo was this fool's name, I believe, but I'm going to be researching them more, man, and bringing it to you because the bullshit that they were talking about.
It's not mainstream media, Chewbacca. He's talking about Fox News, CNN, MSDNC. That's what they was referring. That's what he was referring to by the media. The media policies. That's the
Oh yeah,
lawmakers and the propaganda. Now the propaganda falls under Hollywood, definitely.
oh yeah, that's without a doubt. They the propaganda trendsetters. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Appreciate y'all thoughts. I'm gonna move to the next topic, and that is which culture has the most baby mamas, pretty much. Let's see. Phil Scott said, "I would rather deal with blue collar racists because I know they are open and bold, and I'm ready before getting ready. White collar racists are unpredictable. Yeah, especially the colorblind ones.
Yeah, we're all the same, guy. And
Yeah,
that's why you always hear me say, come sit your ass out here with me in this sun. It's 88 degrees now. We got up to a high of 97, so the heat is leaving as we approach the autumnal equinox, which is the first day of fall.
yeah,
And
we're
then
all
that's when,
we all bleed red and all that dumbass shit.
yeah, exactly. And I ain't coming to Denver, Colorado, man,
No, you better not.
until
You
next
better not come in
August,
no March.
man.
You got warned, Shabaki. You didn't think fat meat was greasy. You see,
No, man, no. It convinced me, man, that ice is cold, you know?
Yeah. But whose ice was colder, Shabaki?
Oh, I would have to say Chicago's, man. Yeah, Chicago gets real cold, man.
Yeah,
But I
that
do.
polar vortexes that come straight out of damn Canada.
Yeah, across them Great Lakes. But I do know one time I went to this place called Steamboat Springs, Colorado, man, and it was 15 degrees below zero.
Yeah, it gets cold up in the Rockies, Shabaka.
Yeah, sinuses all swelled up and everything, and I couldn't even breathe.
We was all the way up in Montana, Shabaka. You already know how cold it get up in the Rockies.
Yeah, no, I only been in Montana in the summer months, man. I know damn well not to go to Montana, man, you know, in the winter, man, because it will get 54 degrees below zero there. Because see, what happens is that when that air comes off the North Pole, right? Is that in the winter months, man, you'll be lucky to have, man, 8 hours of sunlight. The sun don't rise till 8:30, then it starts setting at 3:30. In the summer months, man, sun rises at like 4 o'clock and won't set.
Up there with Dub, yeah.
Who's Dub? Who's Dub? Jay Milligan.
A suspected white. Oh, he ain't even suspected no more. He is a white supremacist.
Oh, okay.
That's been
Yeah, see there, man. Yeah, see, yeah. I tell you, folks, your boy Shabaka people, boy, I've been behind some enemy lines for real.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. So moving along, Shabaka. We got who really leads the world in baby mama culture.
Okay.
Bill Scott said, brothers and sisters in California, please leave the state because they don't control the state politics. We need a migration back to the South. Well, yeah, he's been saying that for a number of years. When off of the North Pole.
Which Montana are you talking about? I'm talking about Montana where the Little Bighorn is.
Big Sky country.
Yeah, the Big Sky state.
Cuz or Mac or whoever got a wrench, get this fool up out of here, crew. Get this fool up out of here. I already know he trolling.
Oh, wind comes off the north. Okay. I see we got an idiot right here.
Okay, I'm out. Yeah, deuces.
Man, expatriate, check this out, man. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing, man.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, you're an idiot, man. You sound like you bored, man.
Handle this fool. Get this fool up out of here.
Yeah. Exit stage left. Zach's pirate or whatever your ass is, man.
Okay,
and if you want to see a knucklehead trick, go look in the mirror. Yeah, you've been banned.
Okay, thanks.
Right on, Jay Milligan.
We ain't got time for trolls, especially not tonight.
Yeah,
you
and
come
keep
on
in mind
that bullshit, you'll get straight roasted.
For real.
Who really leads the world in baby mama culture? So
I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna say them young white women out of places like Kentucky and Georgia and them hillbilly coal mine countries.
In the world, they're not in America, in the world.
Oh, okay.
Like and subscribe to
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Darling Radio. Like and subscribe.
All right, let's get do y'all want to hear from Bushmeat Barrister? Let's hear from Bushmeat Barrister. What's up, Bushmeat? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Tariq? Yesterday you were talking about the whole PJ Washington and Brittany Renner situation, yeah. And I was listening to I believe his name was Ricky Smiley just today. He was just giving his input on the whole situation. He spoke about baby mama culture in the Black community, Black American community. Why don't you address it, the baby mama culture that is, plaguing Black American culture?
I'll do that when you address the baby mama culture in your failed home.
No, you see, you're deflecting again. I mean, specifically in the Black, because it's really bad. I mean, why don't we talk about it's really bad. There's just so many single mothers and so many Black women who hate the men that they have children with. And it's just causing, and the only people who are really suffering are the children. The children are the ones that are really suffering. So
that's a
and
fact.
that's why Black Americans
So that's
are at the bottom. So why don't you address it? The only person that really talked about it.
you don't address the single mothers in your failed homeland, sir. You always try to put this thing where we have to address something, but you sit up here and ignore that your home country has the highest paternity fraud rates in the world. Bunch of single mothers, they don't know who the baby daddy is. Bunch of orphans running around. Y'all sell your kids to white people. Y'all do all types of shit to your kids and your family. So you just coming over here pointing your finger, it's just not, you're just not at liberty, sir. That's what we're saying. Right, Bushmeat? You're not at liberty.
Okay, but Ricky Smiley is at liberty. So can you talk about it? What can Black Americans do to address this huge problem that is plaguing Black your society, your culture?
That's something I would talk with Ricky about. I would talk to Ricky, not no fleeing Tether, who comes from a dysfunctional homeland with janky relationships and the most baby mama drama on the planet. I'm not going to discuss it with you because your shit ain't together. You understand? Right?
No, I disagree. I think you're just deflecting. You just really don't have an answer to that specific issue. It's a cultural problem, and it's hard to fix a cultural issue because it's.
Answer is you don't need to be asking the question. That's the answer. You don't even need to be asking the question when your shit is so janky. Let's get Brother Dan in here.
Yeah, what's good, Flex? How you holding up, brother?
I'm good.
Dude.
We got Bushmeat here.
Oh, Dan.
Oh, Barrister, man. Hey, so actually, marriage rates in our community are actually going up, and people are actually
compared to other races. Compared to other races, it's still at the bottom. But maybe you can help me.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah,
So I got you.
Just answer that question.
I can connect the dots for you. Listen. Okay. Listen and you learn. So, unlike other groups around the country, they have not been directly sabotaged by the United States government. We have. They've admitted as much. So it's like literally saying, "Oh, we had a handicap to start," but in spite of that, we are actually fighting back from that. As a matter of fact, according to the CDC, this is not me, this is not Daniel talking, it's the CDC, that Black men are the most active fathers. So we are actually in the children's lives. Now, the cohabitation thing that you're talking about, I mean, you can make an argument for that, but the point is more marriages are happening. They're actually reversing that. These new generations are believing in marriage and believing in raising children and starting a family. That's what we're doing. And as far as what we have going on here in America, you got people like Ricky Smiley and other people who rightfully so are going to say, hey, we need to get to a point where there's 100%. We have to raise the standards so high that the normal is to do the right thing. And that's actually what it is. So we just keep pushing the standard forward. That's what we do as foundational Black Americans. That's why we have the highest achievement rate of any goals we set. When we wanted civil rights, we got that done because we have high standards. Ricky Smiley is speaking to the high standards that Black American people have. And it's his job as a person who curates these conversations to always keep that in ether. Yeah, we're doing good, but we can do better. Right? That's us challenging ourselves to be better and do better. Now, as in regards to, you know, where you from, outside of the baby mama situation, they even don't know who the baby daddy is. And it's not even a joke. Like literally the highest paternity fraud in the world comes from your area. And it's one of those things where I like to say, we have this saying in the South is sweep around your own front porch before you come over to mine. Dog, y'all got so much other things going on that to even start with our slight social issues is at the very least hypocritical and comical. I mean, I don't even know how to really respond to you on this. I actually came up to speak to another point, but you just happen to be on the stage. You know, I got an idea. How about you get you a nice woman and you have children with her and you get a DNA test so you know it's your child and then you lead by example. Are you married, Barrister?
Oh, no, I'm not married.
Are you looking to get married to a woman?
Yeah, definitely in the future.
You sure?
Yes.
Sure, you sound like Cory Booker, don't you?
Nah. Yeah,
all
but
right, so I suggest you get married to a nice woman, have you some children, and then once you have your children, you can be the shining example for your people and how to do everything right in the world. You got to lead by example, Barrister. Me, myself, I don't have any children. I'm waiting until I get married. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. So
Same here.
I just think yeah, exactly right. So I think you should do that. And in the meantime,
And you
right?
too. You too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on it. Yeah, but you should definitely do it though. And until then, you shouldn't kind of go around pointing the finger at groups who are doing far much better than your group. And it's hard to make that statement here in America when if you look back home, like you gonna get a wife back home, or are you looking at a Chinese woman? Like what type of woman you plan on dating?
No, just a woman who will follow me. I mean, definitely not a Black American woman though. They are so far gone. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like the
No,
Black
they're
American
just
women.
lost. They don't respect Black men.
No, they don't like bisexual men.
No, they don't.
disrespect
They
to
don't.
them.
Hey, they don't respect men like you. They don't respect articulate
say that. What are you talking
Black
about?
men
They
like
love
you.
you,
They
man.
don't. They don't respect.
sure?
Deep down, I'm pretty sure they don't respect you. They're a lot like Brittany Renner.
I beg the difference.
You hear that, sisters? Bushmeat Barrister don't want y'all. Go ahead, Bushmeat.
Yeah, I mean, Black American women. They're just. I mean, Myron gave.
Did you hear
Myron
all the
Gaines.
heartbreaks when he said that, Tariq? Did you hear all the girls talking?
No, it's not heartbreak. It's as I said, it's more of a cultural issue.
No, I'm
and
saying
it's
all
hard
the
to
Black
explain.
American women are so sad that the Great Barrister.
I highly doubt that they care. Yeah, I totally agree. They definitely
Why
don't
you
care.
yelling, bro?
I'm not yelling. I'm just saying that they don't care.
Bro, you started yelling. I don't care. Oh, God, damn, brother.
All right.
I'm sure they'll be fine without you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will be fine.
It might take a little while to get over that Barrister.
I'm not over
Speaks with them,
anything.
listen.
I'm just
No, I'm
saying
talking about
that.
them. I'm talking about
Oh, I
the
see,
Black
I see,
American
yeah.
women.
Gotcha,
I'm
gotcha.
sure at some point in their lives they'll get over the fact that the Great Barrister did not want to be with them.
Oh,
nah, they're pretty much
around listening to Mary J. Blige songs in depression, like thinking, "Oh, damn, I could have had a nigga with peppercorn hair and must and flip flops. Where did I go wrong? I need to do the Sierra prayer to get this nigga." So yeah. Lord. Okay. All right. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right, Bushmeat. Oh, okay. Let me get Bushmeat. How'd I get Bushmeat's ass up out of here? Okay. Like he don't want no Black American woman. Like the sisters are gonna be all, oh, why not me?
Damn,
Nigga,
Tariq.
please.
I sure would love for you to
They
talk
are not
about some
checking
white
for
folks
you,
like
and you
that.
know it.
And if you're looking for
Listen,
such an individual to
Brother
do
Dan
it,
made a
I'm the
good point. See, the
motherfucker to
thing
do it.
is, people you can't point your finger at the foundation of Black Americans. Just the fact that we can still thrive
you would hear them roast the white
in spite of all the massive sabotaging they've done to us. That's a miracle.
But just let me know when he starts
No
the
other
show,
group
Brother Che.
can sabotage, can
doing a show right
survive
now,
being sabotaged, and still
doing a
many
show.
of us will continue
Okay,
to
I'll wait till you
thrive in
finish talking.
spite of what these people have done to us. We're the only group that has been consistently sabotaged over here by these white supremacists. From the very beginning, slavery was a sabotage. Jim Crow was a sabotage. Then they started doing medical sabotage. They started to do warfare sabotage, blowing up Black business areas. They blew our area up. I don't think people really understand the gravity of Tulsa. They've never done that to another business district from another group in this town, in this country.
Yeah, you can still feel the vibe of that shit down there when I went down there, man.
They set up here and dropped a whole bomb on a Black business district out of jealousy and insecurity.
There was more than that, Tariq.
But we've
There
had to
was more
survive
than
that. We've
There
had
was
to
a Becky
survive
involved,
medical
like with Emmett
attacks, the
Till.
Tuskegee experiments. You know what I'm saying? Forced sterilization.
Yes, we know
Black
how
women up there in North Carolina. The Holmesburg prison experiments, where they were doing experiments on Black inmates.
Yep.
Our soldiers, they would do secret LSD tests on
Yep.
Black soldiers.
Thornwell. Yeah,
Y'all
pull
remember
him
the stories
up,
about
Brother
the
Che.
lead
We need to
poisoning
do a story on
that
James
they would put in
Thornwell.
the housings in the 1950s and 60s.
Thornwell.
That was sabotaging us.
James
Over
Thornwell,
there
yeah.
in St. Louis, and then speaking of the 50s and 60s, what was that housing project? It was a housing project called Pruitt-Igoe, something like that. And they did some kind of radiation experiment over there. They put
Oh
fogs
yeah.
of radiation in the
Yeah,
black
they did.
projects. And then
Yep.
later on in life, many of the black people start getting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all look that up. Boy, they've done all types of weird shit to us. So the fact that we will survive and still thrive in spite of that, man, come on. These people put freeways in our business districts. You got places in Louisiana. You have a whole place called Cancer Alley.
Yep. Remember
where they had these petrochemical plants that they put right near black neighborhoods and was giving everybody cancer.
Yeah.
Come on, they still do it. Hell, with Flint. We saw what they did with Flint, with the water up there. You understand?
Yeah, you're
And
right,
then we
Michael.
have the COINTELPRO program, and then the drugs that they would flood in the community to sabotage. So, dude, man, us surviving that, it's a damn miracle. So yeah, nobody's at liberty to point their fingers and wag their finger to us.
Right.
We've survived this stuff, and some of us still thrive in spite of that. You know, that's that Majara spirit that keeps us still finding success in spite of all of that damn sabotage. So yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about why certain relationships work out, certain ones don't. Yeah. What's going on, bro?
Tariq, you're not special. Like, no one cares. Everyone's been through stuff.
Uh-oh.
Everyone has gone through stuff, bro. So why are you're not special, bro?
Yeah, but everybody like us, we don't flee from it like you did. Right?
Why would you flee? What do you mean flee, bro? Who's fled? Why would you flee? Why would you flee from the best nation in the world? That don't make sense, bro. Where's the logic?
Because we made it the best, sir. That's why. And we made it the best by not fleeing. See how that works? You see, when you stay, you can make it the best. Your nation isn't the best because you keep fleeing from it, sir.
Thank you
don't
for
even
having
have.
me
You don't
on.
even have a nation. You don't have a nation.
This is my nation. Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
100.
So why? Okay, all right. If it's your nation, give yourself reparations right now.
Yeah, they're spending they're throwing the money away right now on National Guards. That's where the reparations is going. It's going to either go to us or go somewhere. But yeah, they're going to spend it.
Who is they? Who is they?
White supremacists. They're being stubborn. So yeah, they can be stubborn. You're going to they're spending the reparations money already. So they
so
either give it to us, or they're going to throw it out the window with these National Guards and all of that shit. So
so the people
we're letting them know they're going to have to wake up and do the right thing with our paper, and we're getting the reparations. The first thing we needed to do was get you tethers out of the damn mix. That was the first thing.
Yep.
Because that was the problem right there. Every time we start talking,
bro, you're waffling. You're waffling.
Talk over me. Every time, historically, when we talk about reparations, one of your musty fellow tethers would come in the room and talk about, we don't need no reparation. We don't need nothing. And we started saying, hey, who are these musty niggas? And we realized they weren't even from the lineage. So yes, we are working on reparations, and step one is to get you tethers out the damn mix. You understand?
Right.
Yeah, you're delusional.
No, you're delusional because of all that damn must. Now let me get my brother Robbie in here. We're gonna have a dialogue. Let's get Robbie Blue in here. Let's get Robbie.
Yeah, let's have a dialogue.
Robbie, what's up, brother?
What's going on, brother Tariq? You know, it's interesting. The more and more you listen to the people who flee over here and talk, and then when I speak to people from their homeland, like around the world, I come to a growing consensus. And what those people tell me is, I don't care if they're Asian, black, or even if they're from Europe. It's a crab in a bucket mentality. You know, when we used to go to the farmer's market as a kid to pick out, shellfish, it'll be the crabs that are crawling over the other ones, to bring attention to themselves to get picked. So it's kind of like pet smart. It's almost like white folks see the globe as like an adoption for pets. So that's why when they bring these jokers over here, they have a crab in a bucket mentality. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you, bro.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking
so my
to you.
point that
Do
I'm
you live in
telling
Alabama?
you, it's the
You
crab
fled
in a bucket
Alabama.
mentality. And that's why, like right now, this crab is sitting here clawing and clawing, thinking that he's gonna stop me from speaking and talking
Bro,
to you
look
as
at
my
your
brother.
head, man. Look at your
You're
head.
not even
Look at your head, bro.
listen. You're not even
Get to the
qualified.
point, man. Look at your ball head.
You're not even
Ball head.
qualified to
Get to the
even
point,
talk
man.
to
Your
us.
ball head.
You come from a
What
failed
happened to the
homeland.
FBA hairline?
You're selfish.
Where's the FBA
You're
hairline? Look
ignorant.
at your ball head.
And more
I get to the
importantly,
point, my
if
ball
you
head.
continue
Where's the FBA hairline?
to bring attention to yourself, you're going to end up getting deported. That's the beautiful thing about it, Tariq. People are reaping what they sow. He's laughing. If he's here, I hope he gets deported. But I don't even think he fled here.
He's in the UK.
I think, yeah, he's over there in the
Ball head
UK
nigga.
being a cheeky,
Where's the FBA hairline? Ball head nigga.
He's being a cheeky
You're
fuckboy.
ball head.
All right, I'm out of here, man. Peace.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed.
Had to cook his stupid ass. But back to what we were saying.
Took some of that bushmeat in your luggage. But go ahead, sir. Now, what's on your mind? Money. This is money. Is it money long? Which you got so many different screen names. Is it? Which one is it, Chip?
Bro, fast money, bro. You can't read
money.
English.
Something. It was something that you don't have, which is money. But go.
You want to bet? You want to bet?
Yeah, it's something.
Listen, I have more money than everyone in here.
Because that's what you do. You run them flip-flops to another country.
Bro, all the FBAs in here are broke as
no,
fuck.
Sir. No.
What? No one in here can show me 6 figures. No one in here. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, sir. That's a.
Only you have money to read.
These are very well-to-do black people in here, sir. We're not sitting up here, hooking up generators for electricity to our shanty town. We're not doing that. None of these people are doing that.
Neither am I. But okay,
you're over there in Britain right now, so you fled. So you probably staying in an apartment with 6 other niggas, and y'all niggas sleep on musty bunk.
Bro,
y'all sleep on musty cocoa melon bunk beds. All right, so that's the problem. So,
all right, you know what? Yeah, I don't even want to get into the ad hominem. Let's stick to the dialogue. Yeah. So you said that the Tethers is. Let me tell you why you're never going to get reparations, right? Because you're useless. You're useless. They don't need black Americans for anything. You are leeches. You're consumers. Do you not understand your position in America? Why do you think Israel gets billions yearly? Why do you think everyone else gets reparations except you? Because your community is useless.
There would not be so much focus on us, and we wouldn't make you tethers and white supremacists so damn butthurt, sir. You have to get your cultural cues from us. We are the culture, not only here, but we're the culture globally, sir. You can't move culturally without foundational black Americans. You can't even get anything popping without foundational black Americans. When we ain't in the mix, everything goes straight to hell. We are the moral fiber of this nation, sir. We are the most useful people on this nation because these white supremacists would kill themselves the minute we got out the mix. There would be no United States without foundational black Americans, and there would be no place for you tethers to flee to because you would be beating yourselves overside the head over there in your homeland. That's why you're not there, sir. You're useless in your homeland, and you're useless everywhere else. You're over there in Britain. You haven't affected a law over there. Y'all never gotten a law on the books over there. We've got laws on the books over here, sir. So we are foundational. When I say that, I mean that in every sense of the word, and that's what bothers you, doesn't it?
You're not foundational to nowhere. You're delusional. You're foundational to the plantation. You're foundational to the plantation, yeah.
And that's okay. We're foundation to the plantation and this country. This country got started with an agrarian society.
When there is stank on the streets, there's only one man who will bring the heat.
Hey, Rootwork Jones, why you gotta split, sugar?
These musty jive turkeys think it's a game out here. I gotta get out here and show them I mean business. Can you dig it?
None of these smelly suckers can relax because Rootwork Jones is back. Is the return of Dolomust, the Sultan of Stank. His mission? To turn Harlem into a musty mecca.
I'm going to plant a home in Harlem. Musty.
Rootwork Jones as the shake up the block. He has a limited time before the bomb drops.
Word on the street is Dolomust's men planted a bomb in a Cadillac.
That's mama. Can Rootwork Jones find the bomb before it explodes?
Where is the Cadillac, sucker?
Rootwork Jones behind the wheel, stock and stanky. See, must work.
All right, y'all. Stream or kick me off the damn stream. Yeah, that is.
What's going on now is Donald Trump, it was probably back in July, he had promised the farmers, because they were whining that, you know, their crops were rotting because they had no workers. And, you know, the hilarious part is they thought Black people were going to come and take up all those spots, and they are astonished that we never showed up. Who the hell is going to do that work again? We paid our dues. We're not going out in those fields for any of you. You'll never get that again. After chattel slavery and sharecropping, and you think you're going to get us back out there, and the harsh treatment we got from you through Jim Crow and being out there as sharecrop. So y'all, first of all, I want to take the opportunity to thank my brothers and sisters that have contributed through GoFundMe, PayPal, and also Cash App. Thank you so much for your support. It's deeply appreciated for my channel. I do appreciate it. And, you know, we're going to talk about Donald Trump going back on his word to the farmers. It's primarily the white farmers, because let's face it, Black farmers didn't have these undocumented workers because they never got the same opportunity in farming. This government has showed for centuries they don't support our farmers. They support white farmers only in this society. So they're really the only one that had undocumented workers. So they whined to Donald Trump, and I believe it was back in July when Donald Trump had said he was going to ease back on the raids on farms because, you know, they were complaining their crops are rotting because, you know, too pathetic to go out there and do the work themselves. And well, here we are in September, they're getting raided again. So much for Donald Trump having their backs. Donald Trump don't care about these farmers at the end of the day. He doesn't care about them at all. And they are carrying on because they had to lose their crops, and millions of dollars are lost, you know. And I want y'all to always remember one thing about the white farmer. The white farmer is sitting on all the land they have stolen from Black farmers, and this government helped them do it. Never forget that. They got robbed out of millions and millions of acres of land that these white farmers to this very day got. All that stolen land, they have it. That's why when they are now going through all this trouble, I'm losing my crops. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for y'all, you know? And that's why when people were looking around saying, how come all the farmers on social media whining are just white farmers? Well, that's because those are the farmers this federal government would only support. They would only support the white farmer. They would never support the Black farmer. That's why you didn't see Black farmers whining. Black farmers didn't have undocumented workers. They didn't have the opportunity or even the money to even bring on illegals. But white farmers did. And we saw when the USAID went down, the only ones that lost that money were white farmers. They didn't even have contracts with Black farmers. You didn't see the Black farmers saying, oh my goodness, my food, I won't be able to send it overseas. No, it was only the white farmers, because this federal government those were the only farmers they were willing to give loans to, grants to, and all kinds of support were to white farmers only. So, you know, in a way, it was good what Donald Trump and Elon has done. It's good because it revealed the truth. Nobody can now lie and try to say they had the same opportunities when they absolutely didn't. It's just now, y'all, I don't know how much y'all been paying attention. A lot of these white folks in red states are crying to their Republican congressmen saying that Donald Trump's policies are hurting them. You know why, y'all? Because white people are the biggest ones on welfare, and Donald Trump has cut welfare, Section 8, Medicaid. Who you think is on there the most? White people, right? They are crying crocodile tears to their representatives now because they are getting all of those things cut. And recently, Donald Trump came out and said he don't want anybody on Section 8 no longer than 2 years, which means a lot of these white people are going to have to look for a place to stay. See, I think, you know, they're trying to act all shocked that most of the people complaining about getting cut from, you know, welfare, SNAP, Section 8, Medicaid are white. They're shocked to see it. I'm not. We all knew, you know, what this was all about. Remember, welfare was designed for white people from the jump. It was designed back in the 1930s. And what was our people doing in the 1930s? They were going through Jim Crow. They were not eligible to be on welfare. They couldn't get any. It was designed strictly for white people. It was a safety net for them. It was never intended for us at all. Our people didn't start getting it until 30 years later in the 60s. But they have always been the biggest recipients in the country. It's never been no era where they were not getting it more than anyone else. Well, it's the same way with farmers. The farmers were getting all the subsidies and all the loans and all the grants. And there was never any period of time where Black farmers were getting those same things. They pretty much had to fend, and still do, have to fend for themselves. They don't have a safety net. Many of them are doing the work themselves. They always had to do the work themselves. They couldn't have no illegals on these Black farms. They couldn't. They were barely making it themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into these videos. And, you know, it's the same ones that are always whining, but you know, don't feel too sorry for the white farmer. These white farmers are sitting on the stolen land of Black farmers. And this federal government never did a damn thing about it. So I never feel sorry for them. Damn near all of these white farmers got stolen land in their possession that was stolen from Black farmers. That's why I never feel bad for them when they're on these videos complaining. Where did that land come from?
Exactly, Michael. That's exactly
And where did your grandfather get that land? And where did your great grandfather get that land? Trust me, that land, many of them, is stolen land, millions of acres that Black farmers lost, even going back over 100 years. And they absorbed all that land, and this federal government didn't do anything to stop them. Not only did our people lose their farmland, they were in many cases ran off the farm altogether. So I never feel sorry for them. I don't care if their stuff is drying up. So what? So what? At least you have 4,000 acres of land for stuff to dry up on. Black farmers don't even have that. So I wish I would sit around and feel sorry for them. I don't.
Yep, Michael, they did all that.
All right, y'all, let's get into these videos. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
So we're here on I-5 in Central California. These are the crops that are usually green, lush, beautiful trees, almond trees, and they're left to rot because of ice. There's no one to work it.
You've got more than 30 acres of this farm with fruit that looks like this, like rotting on the trees. These are cherry trees. These are cherries that are more than 2 weeks past their prime. They weren't picked because the farmer who runs this farm says his workforce was too scared to show up this year.
Our workforce is primarily immigrants. You could have all the children born in the United States, but if mom's still trying to work through the immigration system and has an issue, the whole family might say, like, look, we're not going to risk it because we don't want mom to get picked up, so we're going to stay down in California.
Fear of ICE raids kept many of them from traveling north this year. To understand why, we head south to Central California.
So we're hoping that one of those farm working families will actually talk to us here and give us a sense of what life is like in hiding. I think you're good. No names or anything there.
Behind closed doors, making dinner with her mom, we meet Lisa.
Like every single summer, we will go up there. My parents or myself, we will pick cherries. But this year, we decided to stay home just to be safe.
Because you're living essentially as though you're going to be targeted at any moment.
Yes.
You've got to buy food.
Yes.
You've got to go shopping. You do leave for that.
Yes, I have to. I mean, someone has to in the house.
Lisa's here under DACA, a program that gives temporary protection to people brought to the U.S. as children. Her 3 young kids, all U.S. citizens.
This is my new avatar.
You can tell they get kind of bored, like cooped up inside.
No playgrounds, no summer sun. She's afraid of getting picked up by immigration while out and the family getting separated. She's even thinking about homeschooling this fall, just to keep them close. But it's her mom she thinks about most, still picking crops in her 60s.
I would like to point that out. My mom is not a criminal. And it hurts. Sorry. Back in 2020, when the whole pandemic happened, my parents were being considered essential workers, and now they have to hide.
What are you talking about?
I told my mom that, and she feels that this is just a phase. That if we just gotta hang in there, be hopeful, and it's gonna pass.
Someone has to talk about what's actually going down here. We're normal people. We work with normal people, good, hardworking people that have good work ethic. They are part of our community. Just like my arm is connected to my body, they are part of us. So it's not just a matter of just like cutting them off and be like, all right, see you later. If we lose them, we lose part of who we are as well. As a farmer and a human being, we have the responsibility to take care of people that take care of us. And that's how life, I guess, should work, in my opinion.
Y'all got pissed when I posted this picture. Does this make it better?
Videos about how
Is
the
it better
protesters
that you're
are gonna
seeing it in real fucking
honestly,
life?
there's
now?
nothing more disgusting to me than that fucking statement.
The farmers tell us we don't have migrants coming in. You know, we basically hire the same group of people every single year for the picking season. We know them all by name. We have dealt with them for years and years and years. They come back to our farm every year. They're not here this year. They didn't come. And these farmers say only about half of the usual workers who come over did end up coming over, which is still not enough. And they said, we have crops rotting in the fields. The fruit is rotting on the trees. The vegetables are rotting in the soil because there's not enough people to do the work. And they said explicitly it's because either ICE has already deported some of these people when they were working on other farms.
Yep.
Or two, they don't want to come over here because they know if they do, they could be subjected to an ICE raid. So that horrible apocalyptic situation that I have laid out as a possibility multiple times this year is starting to happen now. The crops are rotting. And it doesn't take, a genius to understand how the friggin' food chain works, folks. If we have fewer crops as a country, that means when you go to the grocery store, there's going to be fewer items available for you to purchase. There will be scarcity. Scarcity drives up prices. That's what happened with eggs when we had to cull the flocks because of the bird flu. Shortage of eggs led to skyrocketing prices. Now imagine that happening across the board with every single piece of fruit or piece of produce in the grocery store. That's a lot heavier on your budget than just eggs. But don't worry, eggs will also be affected. Because you see, those crops that these farmers are growing that again are now rotting out there in the fields, those aren't just for human consumption. Some of the other foods we eat those foods as well, right? Those crops are livestock feed. So when we don't have feed for the livestock, they get malnourished and possibly die. So in order to have enough to go around, these, livestock farmers will end up having to cull the herd because that is what they feel is more humane than letting these animals starve to death. So there goes your meat as well. So your fruits, your vegetables, your meats, everything. The entire food chain gets affected by this. But this is what happens. This is what Trump voted for. This, or Trump ran on, excuse me. This is what Trump voters voted for. This is what we warned you about all last year, and y'all voted for him anyway. And again, I don't necessarily have empathy for the farmers when they say, I'm going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. You voted to lose that money. So I have no sympathy. But the problem is, this problem is not just with the farmers. This is a problem that affects every single person in this country. So I do, on that level, have empathy for the human race, for American citizens, right? We're screwed. We all are. Doesn't matter who you voted for, you're going to feel the impacts of this. Nobody is immune. Nobody escapes because all of us depend on food to live. And we're about to hit that situation because the rotting is happening now. Those supply trucks showing up at your local grocery store, they're going to be fewer and further between starting now.
So I just saw a video of a farmer in Florida who states that Donald Trump is the best president in his lifetime and that he supports Ron DeSantis 100%. But he's begging these migrant workers, these undocumented workers, to not leave because he's going bankrupt.
And why don't I hire Americans? The simple answer is we can't get the workers. No American ever calls. No American ever shows up. That's why we are so grateful for the guys that are willing to come and do the work here on the farm. We can't do this without them. And
what's up, guys? Guess what? Florida farmers, they don't have anyone to go and pick their crop, and they're begging for your help. They're begging people to help, and people are telling them, call MAGA to come and support you. So that's what today's video. Credit belongs to one of the videos. I'll be back with commentary.
Understand, MAGA, why aren't you guys in these fields in Florida? It's super weird. You guys need to get in these fields. This is your dream, not ours, MAGA. Get in these fields and pick the food. I'm so confused where you all are at. You guys are, and believe me, I've done the research. You're all not college educated. This is where you guys should be at. You said a job is a job. That's what you guys said. You said that immigrants were taking our jobs. So you guys need to get in these fields and pick the damn fruit and vegetables. You wanted this. Where are you at? I don't understand why you guys aren't picking all the fruit in the fields. Get in there and get our food.
Y'all, I'm gonna whisper because my daughter's sleeping literally right next to me, but my mind is blown. I live in Davie in Broward County, Florida, well, close to Davie, and there's a farm called, I'll post it here, but Family Farms Davie. It's next to Western High School. And I've been seeing videos lately from my friends going around of their cows being like anorexic and super skinny. So I know people that go and feed them like cheese or watermelon or whatever. And I was just scrolling Instagram and I saw that the owner, something Hoover, was arrested on 16 counts of, I'm going to just post it, but like animal cruelty, abuse, and death. Looks like we will never be going back there. And I hope these animals are taken to a better place. Channel 6 News is there right now. My friend just went and saw, and they interviewed her and everything. And she's like submitted proof that he was abusing the animals. There's so much proof out there. It's crazy. But just hold on. Okay, so this was them posting that they're closed because literally their owner got arrested yesterday for killing animals.
So guys, all these tomatoes we are
rotting on the vine, and they're blaming the ongoing trade wars and immigration changes.
What does this mean for the future of our food? The Night Team's Heather Walker has a look at Tonight 7 Investigates.
Perfectly good tomatoes are being plowed over instead of picked. It's a sad scene happening in South Florida.
You can't even afford to pick them right now between the cost of the labor and the inputs that go in. It's more cost effective for the farmers to just plow them right now.
Heather Moling understands the struggles that farmers are facing right now. She's part of the family that runs the Homestead produce stand. Robert is here.
These are local tomatoes here.
She says farmers used to get $16 for a box of tomatoes. It's now down to $3 or $4.
Just a horrible price. Some of that has been from what Mexico is bringing into the country, and some of that has been just with the threat of the tariffs.
Farmers say President Trump's tariffs and the threat of tariffs have caused thousands of acres of tomatoes to go to waste because the cost to pack and pick them is more than what tomatoes are selling for this year.
It costs you, close to, probably over $10 a box, close to $11 a box to break even. So if you're selling tomatoes for $3 and $4 and $5, you can just figure out pretty quickly what the losses are.
Tony Damari with Damari Homestead says his company has experienced huge losses. He won't disclose how much, but says South Florida farmers are hurting.
The Mexican industry exported, in some cases, double and triple the daily volumes as to beat being subject to the 25% tariff in February and March and the 10% tariff in April. That just devastated our markets in the U.S.
Those tariffs never went into effect, but the damage was done. When Mexico flooded the market with cheap tomatoes, local farmers couldn't compete and didn't even bother picking their fields. Now the U.S. government has plans to put an anti-dumping duty on fresh Mexican tomatoes starting in July to try and prevent that from happening again. And it's not just tomatoes from Mexico that's hurting our farmers. South Florida sends a lot of different produce to Canada, which put a 25% tariff on our crops.
Another watermelon grower in the state had called me about concern and question on the tariff. His customers in Canada, which Canada for the Florida watermelon growers in the springtime is a big market, had told him that they, because of the tariff and the added cost to Florida watermelons, they were in fact going to bypass sourcing Florida watermelons for this spring as long as the 25% tariff was in place. In fact, they were going to source their watermelon needs from Mexico.
Immigration changes are also taking a toll. Many pickers are afraid to go to work.
Many workers have left. Others are leaving now.
This man agreed to talk to us if we agreed to hide his identity. He's worried about being deported.
A lot of people are really afraid, and sometimes they come
sometimes they don't come and the harvest is lost because it cannot be harvested. So that's why so much produce is lost.
What's the feeling from farmers right now? Like, how are you feeling?
Not very good, to be honest with you.
And with the current policies on tariffs and immigration, Florida farmers are not planting a secure future.
In what is shaping up to be one of the most embarrassing policy backfires of his political career, Donald Trump's sweeping deportation plan is plunging America's agricultural heartland into absolute chaos. While the headlines focus on border walls and anti-immigration rhetoric, the reality on the ground is far more rotten. Quite literally, across farm-rich states like California, Texas, and Iowa, crops are wilting in the fields, not from drought or pestilence, but from sheer neglect. With the threat of mass deportations looming large, thousands of undocumented farm workers, the very lifeblood of America's produce industry, are either fleeing, hiding, or simply refusing to show up for work. And without them, farms are collapsing under their own weight. The numbers are staggering. Over 235,000 tons of wheat, corn, lettuce, and strawberries are reportedly sitting unharvested, rapidly turning to mush in the spring heat. Videos from local news stations show acres upon acres of untouched fields, with farmers helplessly watching their profits rot before their eyes. And make no mistake, this isn't a case of poor planning. It's a direct result of Donald Trump's newest campaign centerpiece, a massive militarized deportation effort that he promises will be bigger than anything we've ever seen before. But here's the problem. The very people he's targeting are the ones who've been doing the jobs no one else wants. Farm labor in America has long relied on immigrant workers, many of them undocumented. They harvest the food, often in grueling conditions, for wages most Americans would never accept. They're not invaders. They're the workforce. And now they're gone. I've never seen anything like this, said one farmer in California's Central Valley. We've had hard seasons, but never because we didn't have workers. Now we're losing entire harvests. We're losing everything. It's not just produce going to waste. The entire supply chain is starting to crack. Food processing plants are running below capacity. Truckers have fewer shipments to haul. Supermarket shelves are thinning. And prices, they're already on the rise, with analysts warning this could lead to the most significant food inflation spike in over a decade. And where is Trump in all of this? Still holding rallies, still promising to clean up the border, still refusing to acknowledge that his anti-immigrant crusade is gutting the very industries he claims to champion. Even traditionally conservative
Well, things are not getting better, y'all. You know, the farmers, even if you see some of the more recent videos that they're putting out, things are not getting better for these primarily white farmers. And some of them have given up. They said they're not even going to plant another crop because they don't have anybody to work their crops. So, hey, they voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was very upfront about who he was going to deport out of here. And those were the people that were showing up and working for them. And they went into the voting booth and voted against their own best interests. They do that kind of stuff all the time. This time it is costing them their livelihood. So I guess they didn't really think it through, or maybe they thought it was a chance it wasn't going to impact them. I don't know. But I think it's pretty pathetic when you won't even feed your farm animals. You're going to let them walk around anorexic and not feed them? Wow. You won't take care of your crop. You won't take care of your livestock. That's why a lot of people are saying, who's the real lazy one now? Just saying. You know, I can't feel sorry for them because they did this to themselves. They really did. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Lisa Parker for becoming a 15-month channel member. Thank you, Queen Lisa, for being the beautiful and strong queen you truly are. Thank you so much for your membership and your support. for my channel. And Janet Johnson, thank you for your super chat. Old McDonald's had a farm. Yeah, they had a farm and they won't even take care of that farm. That says a lot right there. Thank you for your support from my channel. Okay, y'all, please enjoy the rest of your night and be on the lookout for my videos for tomorrow. Shalom, family.
Imagine a quiet Philadelphia neighborhood suddenly engulfed in flames, a massive plume of smoke that is visible for miles. May 13th, 1985, the Philadelphia Police Department made headlines when they bombed one of their own neighborhoods. So join us today while we discuss the 1985 Move bombing. And I'm your host, Country Boy, and this is One Mic Black History. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. At the core of the MOVE organization was John Africa, who was born Vincent Leap Hart. Interestingly enough, though, John Africa was almost entirely illiterate. So he dictated his philosophy to a social worker named Donald Glassy, who helped him write what every MOVE member called the book, which was essentially their Bible containing all the teachings of John Africa. So what they believed was, first and foremost, at the center of everything was the principles of life and truth. John Africa argued that modern society was corrupt, unnatural, full of lies and violence and needless suffering. In his view, everything created by man was tainted, leading to all kinds of issues: war, disease, violence, environmental destruction. The list goes on. One of the key MOVE beliefs was this radical natural living. They rejected anything they saw as artificial. MOVE members only ate raw foods because, as they said, nature gives you food raw. They also shunned modern medicine and even household conveniences. The kids weren't given diapers or toys, and everyone, even the children, sometimes wet naked to toughen their skin and absorb vitamin D from sunlight. Animal rights was also central to MOVE's ideology. They saw all life as equal to humans, animals, plants, and humans. They rejected the idea that people were somehow superior to animals, just as they rejected the idea of the racial hierarchy. Members fed stray animals, protested at zoos and pet stores, and even demanded the release of caged animals, drawing parallels from zoos to the history of Black enslavement. MOVE was also fiercely against what they called the system, meaning the government, schools, and pretty much anyone of authority. Instead, avoided utility bills, tapping into water and gas lines, and refused to send their children to public school, which they considered brainwashing. Some of their core mantras were: do your work, meant staying true to the MOVE's cause and never surrender. Going to jail or getting beat up by the police wasn't seen as a defeat. Instead, it was just another part of their mission to resist and challenge the system. MOVE members never struck deals with the police or pled guilty, no matter what. In the early days, MOVE lived in a big rundown house on North 33rd Street in Philadelphia's Powelton Village. At first, they had all the usual comforts: electricity, furniture, and even TV. But as MOVE embraced John Africa's teachings, they stripped away everything they thought was unnatural. The furniture went and replaced by sleeping bags. The walls were scraped clean of lead paint. Dozens of dogs ran loose. Daily life was disciplined: early morning exercise, sometimes running around with bricks to build up their endurance, and working together at their car wash. At night, they were spent in long meetings about natural law that were always led by John Africa. To show their unity and commitment to John Africa's vision, every member took the last name Africa. Understanding his beliefs and their lifestyle is crucial to wrap your head around. Why MOVE clashed so severely with Philadelphia authorities? Move often clashed with neighbors and the Philadelphia police, not just because of the radical protests, but their way of living. For years, residents complained about piling of trash, human waste, rat infestation, dozens of dogs, and more than that, people said that Move blared loud, often profane political messages over bullhorns at all hours of the night, even on Christmas morning, making it hard for anyone to get a good night's rest. Some neighbors accused Move of threats, intimidation, even physical assaults, and were disturbed to see that some of the children were rummaging through the garbage, running across group stops, and were never seen at school. These complaints kept coming into City Hall, leaving the community frustrated and desperate for some type of government action. From the Move's perspective, though, they were victims of constant police harassment and an unfair racist media campaign that painted them as criminals or as a cult. Ramona Africa, who survived the 1985 bombing, insisted that they would have been treated differently by the city if they weren't Black. Move believed that their loud, unapologetic protests, profane or not, were necessary to spotlight issues like police brutality, wars, and pollution. They argued that they were simply informing people of the wrongs that were being inflicted on life. And they saw themselves as truth tellers, fighting for justice, even if it meant upsetting the neighborhood. To defend themselves, Move built fortifications at their home. At their first commune on Powelton Village, they erected a huge wooden platform in front of the house, a kind of stage and a shield where members would shout at the police, exercise, and live their daily lives in full view and relative safety. They kept windows boarded up and maintained around-the-clock lookouts, intense standoff with police. After relocating to Osage Avenue, Move then took things even further, building a literal fortress. They constructed two bunker-like structures on their roof, reinforced with timber and metal, complete with gun ports that overlooked the street and a menacing presence over the entire neighborhood. Tensions reached a breaking point in August of 1987 in Powelton Village. Police arrived to evict Move, responding to complaints about the filthy condition and the noise and unpaid bills. They used high pressure hoses, a wrecking ball, and a cherry picker to force the members out. So then a violent shootout erupted, and a Philadelphia police officer named John Ramp was killed. Move argued that it was friendly fire, but 9 Move members were convicted of third-degree murder and given lengthy prison sentences. The national media showed the police brutally beating up one member, Dilbert Africa, further inflaming tensions. The house was then demolished and police swiftly cleared the scene, destroying the evidence. Move also showed a defiant approach to the legal system. They demanded to represent themselves in court, using the proceedings as a means to promote their beliefs, and often refused to show up at all. From their point of view, jail times were all simply part of the struggle. After the 1987 shootout and the imprisonment of the Move 9, the group moved to Osage Avenue in the Cobbs Creek neighborhood into a house owned by John Africa's sister. And then complaints from neighbors started all over again. Unsanitary condition, the blaring of bullhorns, and escalating confrontation. The city, led by Mayor Wilson Goode, chose not to immediately act, hoping to avoid another violent confrontation. This hands-off approach allowed Move to reinforce the home, and tensions kept mounting. By the beginning of 1985, exhausted neighbors took their complaints public, even reaching out to the governor and the media. That pressure finally forced the city's hand and set the stage for the explosive confrontation. Mayor Goode would shift his strategy, and he approved a plan for police to remove Move members from the house and serve arrest warrants for a long list of offenses like parole violations, illegal weapons possession, making terroristic threats, and contempt of court. The threats posed by this confrontation were so dire that authorities decided to evacuate all of the surrounding homes. Residents were told that they would be able to return in 24 hours. On the morning of May 13th, 1985, nearly 500 police officers and city officials surrounded the move home. Authorities cut off the building's water and power, and at 5:35 in the a.m., Police Commissioner Gregory Sambor got on the bullhorn and said, "Attention, MOVE. This is America, and you have to abide by the laws of the United States." MOVE members were given 15 minutes to surrender. Inside were 13 people, including leader John Africa. No one within the building came out. Within minutes, gunfire erupted, and the standoff turned into a gun battle that lasted for more than an hour and a half. Police fired over 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Water cannons and tear gas were used, but MOVE refused to surrender. By the afternoon, the city had escalated from a helicopter. The police dropped 2 bombs made from Toyvex and FBI-supplied C4 explosives on the rooftop bunker. The explosives set off a gasoline-powered generator and ignited the roof. At first, firefighters were told to let the flames take out the bunker and force MOVE to surrender, but the fire quickly spread to the neighboring row homes, and fearing more gunfire, police and firefighters held back instead of putting out the fire. The inferno raged for more than an hour and a half and wouldn't be brought under control for nearly 12 hours later. In the end, 11 people inside the MOVE house were dead, 6 adults and 5 children. Only Ramona Africa and Birdie Africa survived. 61 homes were destroyed and nearly 250 people lost everything. The event shocked the country and left Philadelphia with a grim reputation as the city that bombed itself. The courts eventually held the city responsible for excessive force, awarding millions of dollars in damages to both the survivors and the residents who lost their homes. Investigations later slammed the city for dropping a bomb on an occupied residential area, especially knowing there were children inside. Still, no officials were ever criminally charged. It wasn't until 2020 that the city of Philadelphia City Council formally apologized, declaring May 13th as a day of reflection. But the trauma for that day was still felt, especially by MOVE members and families. The pain resurfaced in 2001 when it was discovered that the remains of some of the children killed in the bombing were stored at the University of Philadelphia and even used for online courses. Mike Africa Jr., who left the organization before the bombing, said that they were bombed and burned alive, and now you want to keep their bones. The 1985 MOVE bombing left a painful mark on Philadelphia and forever branding it as the city that bombed itself. The tragedy still haunts the families of MOVE members and the wider Black community in Philadelphia. So, why does any of this matter? Remembering MOVE's story is vital. It is a reminder that the consequences of state-sanctioned violence and the importance of truth in the ongoing struggle for justice in America. MOVE bombing is critically important, and although it's often overlooked chapter in Philadelphia and America's story, it is a stark reminder of racial tensions and the heavy cost of failing to address injustice. Thanks to Mike Africa Jr. and others, MOVE's story is being preserved not just as a tale of tragedy, but as a testament to survival, resistance, and a radical vision of protecting life. This struggle remains vitally important to American history, and it is one that we should never forget. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy. This is One My Black History, and this is the 1985 MOVE bombing. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemikehistory.com. I also have a new Substack. You can check that out in the description below. I would love to see you there. I would like to thank all my financial contributors. Without you, none of this could be possible. I love you all. Peace. During Jim Crow, Pepsi had the courage to do what other retailers wouldn't. They hired an entirely Black sales team and put Black folks in their ads. Their sales, of course, soared, and there was an inevitable backlash. So how did this nickel soda turn into a quiet powerhouse, and who attempted to sabotage it from the inside? This is the story of how Pepsi became the Black soda. I'm your host, Country Boy. This is One Mic Black History. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. Without further ado, though, let's get started. Under Jim Crow, the simple act of getting a soda could be a reminder of your place. Many lunch counters and soda fountains were segregated or refused to serve Black customers. Ads in mainstream media rarely showed Black people as human beings. If they were pictured at all, it was often as servants, comic relief, or nothing. Brands chased white buyers and pretended like Black buyers didn't exist. During this time, Coca-Cola was king, and it was everywhere in white spaces. It had an image of the all-American drink, which basically meant white. Hiring, especially those in customer-facing roles, followed the same pattern. Doors open for white folks and closed for Black folks. So imagine the landscape, and then imagine seeing a Pepsi ad that basically said that Black families belonged to the American dream, too. But let's rewind for a moment on Pepsi itself. Their story starts in 1893 when a North Carolina pharmacist named Caleb Bradham mixed a sweet, fizzy digestive that he called Brad's drink. Sugar, vanilla, and cola nut. They were simple ingredients for a busy drugstore counter. In 1898, he renamed it Pepsi Cola, leaning into its supposed benefits as a Pepsia, which was basically indigestion. Some people thought the name was a nod to pepsin, which is a digestive enzyme, although pepsin was not actually in the bottle. By 1902, Bradham incorporated Pepsi Cola Company and pushed bottling and distribution. Sales climbed to nearly 20,000 gallons by 1904, and the early ads promised to be delicious and helpful. By 1909, it was even being pushed by celebrities like race car legend Barney Oldfield, giving it some star power. But the business was rocky. And after World War I, sugar prices swung wildly. Pepsi went bankrupt in 1923 and again in 1931. That was when Charles Guff, the president of Loth, the candy company, took over the trademarks, reformulating the drink, and made a simple Great Depression bet. A big 12-ounce bottle of Pepsi for a nickel, the same price that you would pay for a 6-ounce Coke. And it worked. Profits doubled between 1936 and 1938. And the value of Pepsi did the same. And this focus on values set the stage for our story. In the 1940s, Pepsi's president, Walter Mack, saw a market that
All right, sorry, y'all. That was I'm about to end the show. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure y'all join me and Lady Che for a brand new episode tomorrow. So peace, love, light, reparations and separations of Black empowerment. Shane Krumah and Lady Che starting out from the mile high income and illegal money for the city in a sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado. Peace.